maxed out on the thing.
Really?
I'm gonna grab a splitter.
All right, we're gonna get a splitter. Apparently, thank God we have Alex here in the house. He's got the ladder out. He's gonna get it fixed. Oh, Dennis's gambling fund's up 20 bucks. Fantastic. I think it's up 30 bucks already. Thank you so much, Harut. We appreciate you very much. So that'll be a thing. Stay tuned. All right. Well, let's get to the big episode. So I guess, Dennis, you're going to have to just keep me going. Luckily, my mic is in full swing. He's going to start doing hand signals to let you all know that he's alive and well. And he's not otherwise impaired. Okay. So the first thing is we've got, what are we going to talk about? Oh, the state of the store. The state of the CEG. Well, let's do it. We have CEG updates. Do we have a graphic for that one? CEG updates? Then we'll get to Casino Quest. So for those of you involved with the school or in the dealing mode, we have quite literally every casino is calling us. I wouldn't say every casino. That's an exaggeration. But this week, we have the Strat on Tuesday. We have Harrah on Wednesday. We have Gold Coast next week. And thanks to a brand new fan, if you're interested in becoming a student, we're actually giving away, not giving away, we have Blackjack, Bach, and Dice. A special for those 3 games up on our website right now. You can just go to cegdealers.com and register. Oh, they can't hear me?
No, I'm gonna switch it.
All right, hold on. Like. Good?
Did you test it?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
How's that? Ghost energy, yeah. I hear Monday's a great day, yeah. Just lost David. Fantastic.
Try now.
You just killed his mic. Yeah, no. Am I back? I think I should
Testing
be back
1,
now.
2, 3, 4, 5.
OBS.
Now it's
On
back.
OBS it
Yes.
says.
Dennis too? Oh, both are up. Fantastic. Great job.
How's the
Wow.
does it sound loud for either one of
Fixed.
us?
Nope, it says it's fixed. Both are good. Fantastic. All right, good stuff. We are in the mix. All right, thank you guys for tuning in and having a little patience. There you go. All right, well, so CEG updates. That's all the CEG updates we have. I will, at the very end of this, we're going to talk about some of the changes that are going on within the casinos themselves.
What does this
But-
5x5 mean?
We're good. 5x5. Good stuff, dude. Good stuff. Solid. They can hear me. We're on site. I'm guessing there's don't touch anything, he says. Yeah, no S. We're trying to avoid the profanity today, so we're not demonetized. So there you go. Okay. Ready? Okay, back to my yeah, so we have quite a few casinos reaching out to us, and if you are interested in going to almost every other market there is, definitely let us know. We're getting calls from very far away. Everyone's looking for dealers. In fact, it's had such an impact now. There are certain casinos, as you've already heard, that have had to take tables out because they can't get dealers to fill their positions. And some casinos have, I wouldn't say they're crying, but they're almost crying. I mean, it's been a little bit weird having them come in and beg for mercy. We just don't have enough. We're not producing enough dealers, and the dealers we are producing, within weeks they're getting hired or being offered jobs, so it's been difficult to keep up with demand.
Just so you guys know, we have 3 job fairs at the school right now.
Yeah, literally 3 job fairs coming up for whatever few every student is claimed. I mean, what's great is we had a new student, 77 years old, register at the school, and I got him a job. I got him a job waiting. Yeah, 77. The record for the oldest graduate that got a job out of our school, 81 years old. We had a guy who signed up at the school, 84 years old, but he did not finish the school. I have no idea what happened to him. I'm assuming he's happy and maybe hit a lottery. I don't know what happened. It seems like the older you are, the bigger the lotteries you hit. You know, when end of life,
Really?
that's when you finally hit. Because you want to hit them when they're young, but that just doesn't happen. I mean, I just don't hear those stories.
Have you never heard of a young person hitting the lottery?
I mean, I do, but anyways, let's move on. Okay. All right. So we have some Casino Quest updates. You ready? This is fantastic. We got some pictures for you. We took new pictures. So we had a real electrician show up, and when I say real electrician, let's just say the last electrician. Apparently, according to the new electrician, Fubard. For those of you who know what Fubard means, Fubard are electrical outlets, and it was just an absolute mess. But we got it fixed, and we have some pictures coming up here eventually that show you the new store, and it's such a huge upgrade. You got it?
Here, we'll just do it this way.
All right, we got
Just
some
keep
pictures
going.
to show you guys.
Just keep going. Just keep
Keep
talking.
going? Well,
Yeah.
I'm on Casino Quest updates. I'm waiting for pictures, dude. Can't keep going. The next thing is casino news. That's a whole new graphic. But so for those of you who have been to Casino Quest, we had some lighting issues, some electrical issues. One of the people involved with our space, formerly involved with our space, sort of blew out some fuses on the very front, and so we weren't able to light up the front of the store. We had to use LED lights and track lighting to try to, move some lights, and we had to stretch all those using an extension cord from, one of the plugs far away. That's finally been addressed, and we do have some wonderful pictures for you, and he's working on it right now, hopefully.
And
here we go. All right, here we go. So it's amazing because if you look at that sign, you see our our Casino Quest sign. By the way, these windows are 40 feet, so that from the very floor to the very top, it's 40 feet high. And when we're 60 some odd feet across, they're big. The scale of this is big. So if you see the top where the lit up Casino Quest thing is, the wallpaper, that's actually like this scintillating wallpaper, and when it wasn't lit up, it looked really stupid. It made no sense. It looked very fake and silly. But now that it's lit up, it actually looks really good. I know some of you have already come out here and seen it, but it's amazing. And now we have lights. Can you show them the other ones, the other pictures? So we have a couple of images inside the store. There's more lighting on the outside. It's all lit up now. We got all of those outlets working again. And now the inside of the store has been, now we have a lot more retail space. We're slowly sort of building out. We have one bank of slots for play.
oh, these lights didn't work before. Now they do.
Yep, the track lighting across the top all works. So basically, we ended up with a qualified electrician this time around, and that did the work for like a quarter of
Really?
what was done. Yeah, it was actually
It was a
cheaper,
quarter?
dude.
Really?
It was unbelievable. Yeah, 100%. So weird. Anyway, so as you can see, we made some pretty cool improvements. So next time you come out here, make sure to stop by and just say hello and check it out. One of us, me or Alex, is usually here. All right, ready? That's fantastic. Good job. All right. Next, we're moving on to casino news. We have a lot of casino news to talk about today, actually, which is pretty interesting. Do we have any? But I'll stop there. Anybody have any questions or anything else I need to address before I move on? Anything? Anything?
Let's see.
Yeah. All right, we're getting to some fantastic Vegas news, man. I have literally done my homework. All right, and you ready?
JK says no more stripper pole.
No more circle pull.
Stripper pole.
Oh yeah, we took out one of the stripper poles. This is true. Dennis said no. He was done.
Oh my
He
god,
finally
that's
put up his
terrible.
shoes.
That's terrible.
He's moved on to a new life, sir. Yeah, we got rid of that stripper pole. By the way, that was one of the biggest problems we had. Is like originally, thankfully we didn't call the same electrician back, but the new electrician was like, holy crap! It was just an absolute botch job. It's amazing because they had to. Apparently, they pulled electricity to re-navigate electricity because they were so confused about where they were sourcing and how to put the pole in. But oof. Anyways, all fixed. We're good to go. Yeah, but no stripper pole. Well, we have the one stripper pole we can make available. You know what I mean? If you get an
Oh
itch.
my god.
All right, ready? Okay, we're moving over to a slideshow, buddy. We got a lot of really cool news. Lots is going on in Vegas. And the first one is we have Main Street is coming back online. So Boy Casino just announced that the Main Street station is coming back September 9th. And the same day it opens, they're also going to come back with the Garden Court Buffet. So here, you got that one?
The Main
It's
Street
on the
lobby one?
slide. Yeah, it's on the slide. There you go. There you go, buddy. Ready? Here we go. First slide number 1. All right, so here we go. Main Street Station, if you didn't know, is a very sort of services a lot of Hawaiians. Those of you who are Hawaiian or watching us from Hawaii, you've probably been there. They definitely had spam on the menu. That's a thing. That automatically qualifies you or puts you halfway into the Hawaiian-friendly casino category. So I'm not showing you the casino space. I'm showing you what the lobby looks like. And it's very interesting. They've curated all of these old train artifacts. So the guy that first built this was real big on these Victorian era chandeliers and train artifacts. It's a very cool space. If you walk through, if you haven't had a chance to go to Main Street Station and you just want something to do that's free, you stop at the lobby, you pick up a brochure. They have actual brochure, and they tell you, it details everything that's been curated, you know, the age of it, where it came from. Even the chandeliers are very cool. To walk through the property, you can identify where the chandeliers are from. They're all from these sort of very cool, very unique places in American history. And everything, even the banisters, some of the wood's been reclaimed from different places. This bench, for example, came from some train station. It's a really interesting thing, and it's free. It costs you $0. I didn't even know this was a thing so much. I knew that it was. They had a lot of artifacts, let's say. But I saw a family just sort of taking a tour, and so I went and picked up the brochure. I even asked. And they have a brochure. It's right there in the lobby. You can go check it out yourself. So it's one of those things I used to always tell friends to do if they didn't have a whole lot of money or they had to wait downtown, something like this. But anyways, downtown's coming back. The Garden Court buffet is there weren't a lot of buffets downtown. I don't even know. Does Circa have a buffet? I'm not even sure.
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I can't even go in.
But Golden Nugget, of course, has a buffet. It's considered, I guess, the premier buffet downtown. Besides that, the Fremont did have a buffet for a minute. I'm not sure if that's even open right now. I'm guessing it's not. But when Main Street Station back in the day had a pretty good buffet. It was really solid. I mean, in terms of, for the price, value, the food that it offered, it was actually very good. And at some point, it just started going downhill.
Really?
Like the Sam's Town buffet, which, by the way, oof.
Dude, the Sam's Town
Look at
buffet
this.
actually sucks.
By the way, Taylor, thank you, sir. Look at this. One of our fans got me this hat. I love this hat, by the way. And it's made by Big Daddy. It's a Big Daddy brand hat. Oof. We're coming out with this hat. We're going to be selling this hat, 100%. All right. So there it is. And then here, go to the next slide. That's the garden buffet. It looks exactly like that. You see it?
Dude.
Yep. Slide number 4, sir. Slide number 4. See this? Dude, we have upgraded, man. We are high tech. That way you guys can take the journey with us. All right, so that's exactly what, and again, it looks like a Victorian era kind of theme, vibe. It's like most other buffets. It has at one point it had like a pizza thing, and it has a few different types of food. Alex, what did you think about the garden buffet, Main Street Station? Did you like it?
It was okay.
Okay,
He said it was okay.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, when it first started, it was fantastic. All right, moving on. That is the news for now, but good to see them coming back online. As far as the school goes, fantastic, because they're going to need more dealers. I don't know where they're going to find dealers. I think the dealer market is pretty much tapped. What we need is new dealers to come on down to the school, sign up and get trained, and get your ass out there to work. All right, well, the next big news in the casino world is Harrah's in New Orleans, who is soon to be Caesars New Orleans. So I threw up there's another picture. That's the very next slide. You see it? If you guys haven't been to Harrah's New Orleans, it's a pretty fantastic property. They're in the middle of a upgrade. So as you know, Harrah's Caesars, of course, it's going to be rebranded Caesars New Orleans here in the very near future. Actually, maybe like a year. They're in the middle of a $325 million expansion. They're adding another hotel, this type of thing. But interestingly, what they are going to be doing is requiring you to have a vaccine, proof of vaccine or proof of a negative test in order to enter the property. And my guess is throughout Caesars properties, this is going to be the test. So they're going to see how many people get turned away by this and whether or not they can stay in business as a casino. Some time ago, about a couple of years ago, they also prohibited smoking in the pits. And so they use this property, I guess, as a test moving forward. So we're interested to see. I think Vegas is going to be tuned in and see how this affects the property one way or the other. And we're going to get to that in a minute, by the way. That's going to be in my good, bad, and ugly episode. We're going to talk about some of the mandates coming down, some of what's happening here in Vegas, as you know, with the Delta variant, that type of thing. But there it is. There's a picture of Harrah's New Orleans. So I opened the tent about a year or so before this permanent facility was built. And I was a consultant with this property. I was still working with the Bella Baton Rouge, and then I moved over and worked as a consultant for one of the families that was involved in opening this property. And at the time, it was just a tent It was a huge, big
Really?
ass tent, huh?
Just a tent?
Well,
Like-
it was like one of these permanent tents. Have you ever seen when they opened and expanded the convention space before they built all this?
Like
the
a circus
convention
tent?
space?
Like,
Like
you know.
a big, like, I mean, it was more of a more permanent looking tent, but basically, yeah, just this massive tent. If you guys have been out here in Vegas back in the day before they had all the convention space, whenever they had like overflow convention, they would put up those tents with AC and everything. They were like semi-permanent structures. That's how Harrah's opened up originally, and it was a rough opening. Let's just say this: they had promised way too much money to the state, so their agreement was to give 150 million. They paid that as a set tax. And it didn't work out so well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because there was a lot of other competition. Just because it was the first land-based casino, official land-based casino, there were already riverboats up and down, everywhere before and after Harrah's New Orleans. So it just didn't get off. It got off to a bit rocky start. Let's just say that. They had to renegotiate the terms with the state before they moved on. By the way, this is where I went before going on to the Grand and experiencing my $49,125 exit from a craps table.
Wow, you got it down to $1.
Oh yeah, because that 125 they gave me in tokens, which I used at the $25 slot machine. It was right there. Okay, so I know exactly what I cashed. We cashed out quite literally $49,125. Okay. Well, there's that. Harrah's New Orleans. Good for you. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure how that's going to go down, whether or not you're going to have anybody showing up, or maybe it's a big success. I don't know. I think they're already running into some issues, but maybe the renovation will help. And I think a lot of times when casinos have revenue issues, their first solve is to build more rooms, having more rooms to feed the casino floor. Ever since the Flamingo was a thing, they shut down at one point. That wasn't doing so well. They built more rooms, and voila, successful casino. All right, you ready?
Yep.
We got any questions so far? Any relevant questions, or a lot of gibberish, or what do we got?
People are saying I should get a haircut.
Oh my
Main
God.
Street, Main Street
Station?
to open September 8th. The dealers there were ununionized. Not sure how they will affect them in rehiring.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So the state passed a law saying that, especially with hospitality, that you had to hire back the people who you dismissed for whatever. But most of those people have moved on. I don't see that being a thing. So you have to get first dibs. So if Main Street Station had a dealer that they laid off during COVID, obviously, they would have to give that dealer first dibs to come back. But that dealer might be at Aria by now.
Really? But like,
Oh.
it's just so long. It's so long after. You know what I mean? Like,
it's still a law. I mean, that's the thing. It's actually, that law has been impacting, I would say, negatively some of the local casinos who have kept a certain amount of spots on standby waiting for these people to come back.
really?
These people aren't coming back. They've moved on, dude. I mean,
But do they call you? What do they do? They just sit there and
what's
wait?
the process? Do you have to literally get on the phone and start dialing out to all these people, say, hey, where are you? I think it's a no-win. I think it's a stupid law. Like, if you want to come back, you come back, especially right now. I think the state assumed that there weren't going to be so many jobs. They wanted to make sure that at least the people that were laid off would be able to go back into these jobs. But there have been so many jobs. Like, the demand for employees is through the roof, everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, their businesses literally, their whole restaurant's shutting down because they have no wait staff. There's literally 0 people.
No, didn't you tell me that you guys went to Red Lobster that one day?
No, Red Lobster, it's we had to wait for half an hour. Me and Timmy waited 30 minutes. And we assumed the place was busy. Like a lot of restaurants out here, some restaurants are just busy, and so you have to wait, right? We waited 30 minutes, and we go in the restaurant. There's 3 tables. That's it. Out of the whole place, there's only like a couple tables being seated.
Wow.
They had no wait staff. There was literally no one there. That was the problem.
Well, why do you want to be a waiter when you can be a dealer?
There you go, dude. Wow, well spoken, genius. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, I think a lot of people. We've actually we ran into. We forgot to
Oh,
tell
yeah,
Mark. We ran into one of his bosses, one of the owners of his restaurant. We won't say what restaurant, but we ran into his owner. We ran into an owner.
Well, we're
of a
talking about
restaurant.
Mark, just so you know, one of our dealers
Yeah,
here.
one of our dealers. And the owner was saying how he's been having really tough time, keeping staff.
Yeah.
And some of his staff at one of his restaurants ended up bailing, and we're like, no way, that's our guy. Hey, we talked to your owner. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, he
Don't
said
tell
his
anybody.
name
Come
and
on,
everything.
We don't want to. Yeah. We met one of the owners of the restaurant that you work at. We're talking to Mark right now. And he mentioned you by name, having lost you. But anyway, we'll tell you later. Yeah. But it's been an unbelievable thing that's been going on here in Vegas. And I'm assuming, everywhere. We've heard this everywhere. I was just watching a show yesterday, and they were talking about how there was this one diner where the owner now has to kind of work the grill, serve.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, me and Alex, of course, have had to sort of fill in where we haven't been able to find extra teachers. We still need a poker teacher, poker instructor. We still need a poker. Anyways,
it's the same thing everywhere. We went to DQ the other day and we saw one of the owners at the window making the ice cream.
Who, but that could be my story of the day. I actually threw a hot dog at him years ago. This same owner, the same guy. Yeah, I threw a hot dog. That's true. Okay. So there you go. That's the Harrah's update. Harrah's New Orleans. I threw that in there because I have a little tie to Harrah's New Orleans. It's good to see that they're still, around. The building's still standing. That kind of thing.
Someone asked, WTH is going on with Resorts World.
Can we say my hat says it all? Okay.
What kind of
question is that? So we have people aiming for the exits, and I think here's what I've heard. Crockford's doing fine. I think people that have embraced the high limit part of that is probably, if you're working there, that's probably where you're trying to go, because I think that part of the casino is doing well. I think that's been a big win coming to the United States. It's quite the brand overseas, by the way. It's a new brand in Vegas, but I think it'll slowly catch on and it'll start taking away some of that high limit play. The rest of the place
is pretty empty.
I mean,
watch our previous podcast on that one.
Yeah. There's a good, bad, and ugly in there, and it's mostly a bit ugly right now. Without taking too much away, where they're a neighbor. I mean, let's just say this: casinos sometimes take a while to get into their stride, to kind of feel things out and find their way. Well, Resorts World has got a lot of some of the smartest people in the business are associated with that property. 100% believe that they're going to navigate this well, and they're going to find a way forward in a very positive direction. There's no spin right now. I mean, you can talk spin if you want to, but the reality is, a Friday at 6 p.m., taking a picture of your front door for a couple minutes with nobody going in and out is a oof.
Yeah, no.
And then walking through the property, oof. There's no diners. It's gonna take a minute. They definitely have some stuff. They need to lower the price on their flipping dumplings, dude. $13 for 3
I spent $13 for 3 dumplings. Three. And they're like this big. They're not like big fat dumplings. No, they're like this big.
For those of us who identify as a coupon, that's not a thing.
That's not coupon friendly, dude.
No, that's not. I actually made Dennis pay for those, by the way.
Yeah, no, he did. He did.
I was like, dude,
and
I
cried a little.
I bought everything else, but I could not bring myself to pay $13 for 3 dumplings. I will say this: the dumplings was my.
Is at like cheaper places?
I'm literally not the bar for dumplings. Like if it's whenever I go somewhere and Alex loves it and I'm eating it, I know it's good for the.
That's your bar. I mean, just gotta ask Alex.
There's this place close to us that I'll tell you this: if anybody that's watching or anybody hears this after the podcast, if you get a chance to go on to Casino Quest, if you listen to where Alex goes, Alex knows food like there's nobody's business. I mean, quite literally, and not just like from a taste standpoint, like okay, he likes it, doesn't like it, but he can tell you like what's in it.
Oh no, that's true. That's true.
He knows ingredients. I don't know ingredients. Are you kidding me? I just know like, hey, this tastes a little spicy, not spicy. You know what I mean?
We should do a blind taste test with Alex.
No, he did. He can point out. No, he can 100%. He can point out little nuances like, oh my God, this was hand agitated on a Sunday with fresh flowers. Okay, he has nuance, dude. He has nuance. We there's a place near us. He'll have to tell you about it, but there's a place near us. And it's a cash-only Chinese place in the middle of the strip mall. You would never know it's there because there's literally like other famous places. It's surrounded by really popular restaurants, quite literally. And so, but in the middle of all of this, all these really popular, well-known places, there's this little hole in the wall, and it's Chinese food, and they don't take kindly to people like, you go there to eat and get the hell out. Like, quite literally, the lady's like, done. She sits there and she's like...
Wow, really?
Yeah, she's hammering the table. And I'm like, I'm like, Alex, what's going on here? Well, you're supposed to eat and get the hell out. It's a small place. They gotta flip those tables. But some of the best lo mein, like if you just want straight up lo mein made authentically while watching, ducks hanging in the window.
What? Wait. What's going on here?
It's authentic, dude. You got to see ducks hanging in the window, as otherwise it's not authentic. Not authentic Chinese anyway. I've never been to an authentic Chinese place and not had like ducks hanging somewhere. There's some kind of duck, chicken.
What are you going on?
Anyways, yeah. All right. Next up.
Oh.
All right, you ready?
Oh.
He's looking for something. Holy crap.
I mean-
Is the on-air sign up? All right, there we go. Okay. All right, ready? All right, any other questions? We got anything else? Anything?
Apparently,
Ready?
people are reporting that resorts rooms are half the price.
Oh,
Like,
100%. That's only the beginning. They're gonna go down to yeah. Man, I was almost demonetized. Almost let it out. Let's just say, yeah, they might have to work you over for a room here in a minute. Like, come on down, get this freebie while it lasts. Yeah, just saying. Anyways, you know, the biggest complaint I've heard about that place is not even the casino floor. I've heard all positive stuff about Crockford's, by the way, literally all but except for the rooms.
really?
You know, yeah, I think they might have gone a little squeegee on the rooms, dude. You know what I mean?
I mean, they have good odds there. We saw their
You
table.
should have gone big on the rooms. You should have gone big, fat. The same way that Wynn, Venetian, and Bellagio all tried to one-up each other on the suite size. I mean, a standard room at, like, quite literally Venetian, I think, is, what, 600 square feet, 550, 600 square feet.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic, yeah, dude. Any
Have you
room
ever
get
stayed there?
At the Venetian? Oh, 100%. They have these, I mean, Venetians, everything is a suite, basically. It's all a suite. They're big. The rooms are big and fat. The only thing that's is if you get the tub room, where they have the pass-through right there to the damn, to the bedroom, I think that's a little inconvenient. You know, I want the tub to be separate. I don't want to, like, you know, have the tub so close to where someone's doing jingle in the tub. You know
Oh
what I mean?
my god.
I'm somehow rooted to that relationship. You know,
You don't want
the
the
tub should
toilet.
be separate, huh?
You don't want the toilet right next to your bed.
Dude, epic fail in that one. Look, the Harrah has rooms where they put the tub. That's changed, by the way. They've renovated those, but where they had the toilet in the closet right behind your head. Imagine that. Oh God, that's gonna be a little stinky on that one. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right, the very next slide is, and this is courtesy of Vital Vegas, who, if you don't know Vital Vegas, if you're really into Vegas rumors with some humor and some interesting insight, this is a local who reports on Vegas and somehow comes up with all the inside news. I don't know how he does. He has a ton of sources, by the way. We actually know casino managers that have wanted us to meet him and talk to him, but he's been busy and we've been busy. We haven't been able to meet. But VitalVegas.com is a fantastic resource for quite literally everything. He has, and he reports on things that he knows and you know, that type of thing. Not everything, but a lot of insight. But anyways, Bally's, of course, on the Strip is no longer going to be Bally's because they lost the right to Bally's because Bally's was bought by another company, and somehow the company has Tropicana. It's
What?
a really weird. Yeah, I don't know who. At this point, I'm very confused as to who owns the Bally's thing. But I think that Bally's on the Strip is not going to be Bally's on the Strip for much longer. So the rumor is, and we've heard this from another source as well, is that I think that as much as Caesars say they're not going to sell, I think they're going to sell. And the company, it's a rumor mill? It's a little early for the rumor, but that's okay.
Well, you said the rumor.
It is a rumor. This is true. So let's just say the rumor is that maybe a certain Indian tribe with a big fat guitar in their yard is going to take over Bally's at some point, because Bally's can't even be called Bally's, and they might be called, I mean, I don't know what else to call them. Like, what are they going to call them if it's not Bally's? Yeah, Casino DOA. Well, anyways, here's what we like. We love another Indian operator, and we love that because, again, it's going to, you know, up until recent history, it's been kind of the monopoly. You've had a couple big players owning most of the properties, and that's changing. So we're getting a lot of competition now. There's a lot of new players in the market. A lot of casinos are standalone or owned by, you know, one. They have maybe one property, which is great for business. That means lower table limits. That means more competition, lower table limits, maybe some better food, competitive buffets, right?
Yeah.
So back in the day when you had every casino was basically on its own, you could go up and down the street and see all of the billboards lit up with all sorts of offers, competitive offers. You know, come play dollar blackjack here. Imagine that, dollar blackjack.
Now you see 000 roulette wheels.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, 000 roulette wheels. Because there's no competition. They're all in it together. But that's changing. So we applaud that. We look forward to that, and I can't wait to see more brands light up. And I love the investment in these properties. So if Bally sells, maybe Paris sells with it. we got to see it. A casino will come in, an operator will come in and invest money because those properties need investment. And to put a punctuation on that, do you know there's almost like nowhere to eat at Bally's? Do you know they closed BLT Steak and with it the Sterling Brunch not coming back?
Really?
Sterling Brunch. I'm looking for the depression in Alex's eyes at this point. No Sterling Brunch. We were going to go there and celebrate. That was going to be the win.
Not bringing back Sterling at all?
I mean, it looks like Sterling's dead on DOA, dude.
Yeah, fuck that place.
I know. See, Alex is like, that's it. I'm out. But if you go through there, you can see they need some upgrades, dude. They definitely need some investment. But no BLT. Buka. They kicked out. Buka's no more.
Really?
Buka.
Wait, they kicked out Buka?
Yes, and I had a coupon for that one.
Oh.
I mean, I think it expired a long time ago, but I could argue for the coupon. The other place that's closed, you can go to my slide. You see the two signs? Let's show everybody. Let's give some people visual reference so don't think that we're FOS. It's slide number.
I'm on the slide. I'm on the slide.
Number 6. Look at that. No more
Buka.
BLT steaks. No more. Yep. No more Buka. And tequila taqueria. I don't know. I never actually read it. But so go to the very next slide. That's the Bally's Promenade, and apparently not such a big win that everybody was hoping for. So if you haven't been to the Bally's Promenade, so Bally's was trying to figure out what to do with the big ass walkway to get from the Strip. So you used to go from the Strip to get to Bally's was a bit of a walk, like quite the walk. At one point, they were going to build this sort of, moving escalator all the way from the Strip to Bally's. That didn't work out. So they put up this whole promenade with shops, little eateries, little sort of micro businesses throughout that whole place. But the feedback so far is maybe it's not working out so well, and maybe it's gonna cease to be a thing. But we'll see. If another operator comes in, obviously there's a lot of land there, there's a lot of options. But they do have Wahlburger out there, which
I've never been to Wahlburger.
I've been there twice. I gotta say, I'm not gonna say it's as good as Gordon Ramsay burger, but I will say I enjoyed it, even with the grass. At first,
there's grass.
I don't know if it's grass or just. It was a bit of a foofy burger I got, but they have this American cheese. I don't know why they keep calling it American cheese because it's better than most American cheese I've ever tasted. So their big thing is like, you remember when, okay, you might not remember. Well, you might remember then. But remember, there used to be cheese they gave out as if you had welfare, if you got government benefits, right? The government would show up and, they would give you cheese and milk. You don't know this? They had a program where they would give out, I think they still have it, where they give you cheese and milk. And so a lot of families grew up on this cheese, those big yellow blocks of cheese from back in the day. In fact, if you've been in the military, you know exactly what I'm talking about because the government used to just make this cheese by default. I don't know. It was the same cheese. Well, apparently Wahlburger, because they feel like that's the cheese. They use that cheese that a lot of us were raised on for whatever reason. You know
so it's like nostalgia is what you're saying?
It's a bit nostalgia, but it tastes fantastic. There's no takeaway from it. I don't think it was ever considered cheap cheese. It was good cheese. It's this yellow American cheese, and that's their thing. You can look it up on the thing. It even says, But anyways,
Really?
Yeah. So Wahlburger's there. You know what else is there? Dirty Dogs has a location in front of Bally's, and I waited in line there, but I didn't make it. God, I'm always so impatient.
Well, we went to the one on Enterprise. There's still a line.
Fantastic. That was worth it. Yeah, so they ran out of sauce. So when I was there at the Dirt Dogs in front of Bally's, right? I'm sitting outside. There's only about 3 or 4 people. It didn't look like a very long line, but someone got into like a conversation. I wouldn't say an argument, and they were talking about what sauces. They have buckets. They have these sauces in buckets.
Oh no, yeah, you told me this story. Yeah.
Oh, you've seen this before?
No, but you told me about it.
Oh yeah, and they had the bucket pulled outside, and they were working on the sauce, and I was just like, listen. When you get your buckets figured out, I'll come back. The buckets made me a little nervous. Yeah, but no. We since had them, and we loved it, by the way. That was fantastic. Those are fantastic hot dogs. All right, you ready? Okay, ready? I got next up in Vegas. I got what's news in Vegas news. All right, ready? If you didn't already know that there's a holiday for everything, there is a holiday for everything. By the way, so today's holiday was... I don't know. I forget what it was. This was National Something Day. Everything's a National Something Day, just so you know. But tomorrow it's National Roller Coaster Day, August 16th, apparently. Did you know this?
No. I didn't even know there was a National Roller Coaster or anything.
There is. National Roller Coaster. There is actually a calendar. You can look this crap up. And these people come up with whatever holiday they need to make some money. You know what I mean? There's
Oh.
National Donut Day. There's National Bingo Day. There's National Keno Day. Is in the works.
That's not
We're
a thing.
participating
That's
in
not
that
a
one.
thing.
You were working on National Keno Day.
I wonder
All right,
who gets paid to do that. Just sit there and think of like, you know what?
listen here. Anybody in business gets paid. We're gonna have National Casino Quest Day. That's coming up. Our National Dealer School Day. You know, this kind of thing. All right, ready? So here, go to slide number 9 because this is actually a ride on top of the flippin' Stratosphere. So if you want to really pee your pants, and there you go. You can go to the top of the damn. No, you got to go to the. Oh no, wait, I'm on the wrong one. I foo-word myself. So believe it or not, on top of the Strat, 108, 109, 110 floors up, whatever the hell it is, they have a bunch of rides. Yeah, you could jump off the Strat, just so you know. They have a little bit of a roller coaster, or what attempts to be a roller coaster. It's called a slingshot, I believe. And it looks scary as hell. I mean, it's scary as hell. And so there's gonna have, if you go up there, it's gonna be 2-for-1 passes tomorrow only. You got to be there for the holiday Monday. For those of you who are just absolutely batshit crazy, there you go. Enjoy. And the day passes, by the way, too. You can get 2-for-1, but you got to buy them, on the holiday day. So yeah, don't ask me, don't call me. My phone is off.
How much do we need to raise for you to get on this roller
That's
coaster?
That's not a thing. If Derek can jump off with a parachute, maybe I'll think about it. Maybe.
So the bar is Derek has to jump before you do it.
Yeah. Derek's got a freestyle. Derek's got a freestyle.
Derek, are you
There's a
willing
guy
to
that
jump off
climbed
the Strat?
Good luck. Yeah, no. I can't even, to be honest with you, I don't even like leaning over in the observation thing, which, by the way, another fantastic thing to do out in Vegas is they have this foundation, they have this, what's it called? They have this viewing level. I think it's level 108, maybe 107.
By the way, Derek just agreed.
He just agreed?
To jump.
God, that bastard. Don't agree, Derek. Don't do it. The observation deck, I think it's 107 or 108. And what's great about it is they have these they have these screens that you can interact with. So as it starts moving around and you sort of look out, you can relay what you're looking at with the screen, and you can pull up almost everything that you can see out there, and it'll tell you what it is. It's amazing.
You prefer the screens.
All the landmarks, huh?
I'm guessing you prefer the screens rather than looking out.
Yeah, I look at the screen, dude. I'm not even looking outside. No, the outside's a bit nerve-wracking. But they also have an ultra lounge up there that used to serve milkshakes.
Milkshakes?
Yeah. Milkshakes. I think they might still serve milkshakes, but that's fantastic. We might go back for the milkshakes. But Alex has been up there. It's really a really cool place to take someone, have some drinks.
We've been up there, remember?
Just go there after the rides are closed, because you don't ever want to get some liquid courage. Then all of a sudden you're riding the slingshot to the top, and then it just leaps off. Something happens, and it
I don't think that's gonna happen.
On the top of the flippin'. No. Thank God they didn't go ahead. So originally they had planned for a King Kong ride to just literally scale the whole property, go all the way up from the bottom.
That would have been really cool, by the way.
You know what? I agree. When I was a younger person, I would have enjoyed that one. I would have enjoyed.
So you wouldn't enjoy it now? What are you saying?
I would have to think. I'd have to go up with Derek. Derek would have to hold my hand on that one, because it's still going up 108 floors, dude. But yeah, they had a lot of. I mean, that was when Stupak was alive, dude. He had a lot of really wild and wacky things he wanted to do with the place. You know what I mean?
Was it the Strat meant to be taller?
It was. It's actually, I think they had to deduct like 10 levels. The aviation, it didn't pass muster with the planes. They were afraid the planes were gonna run into it, because
Wow.
that would be bad.
So then what happened to all the other towers that are taller than the Strat?
Yeah, I'm sure they just listen, Stupak, you suck. We're gonna go less. We're gonna go. I don't know what happened there, dude. I actually was able to witness some of the city meetings when they were discussing the roller coaster, because at one point he wanted a roller coaster at the base of the Strat to kind of whiz around Harrah, that whole area over there, and they were trying to everything was sort of approved except for the decibel levels, and this is where Naked City was out. They got their panties in a bind over decibel levels.
Really?
Yeah, not the crack cocaine being dealt. You know what I mean? In the air, it was the roller coaster was a bridge too far, and they argued, and they got together a community group to basically listen. They were like, listen, when we finally do get to sleep for those 3 days in a row, We don't want to be woken up by a flippin' roller coaster buzzing over our heads. No, seriously. Yeah.
Wow.
And it got heated because there are council people that quite literally wanted that to go live. They were very anxious, very excited. They thought it would be a really good draw, and it would really help this property and bring people to that part of, that area and help spruce it up and the whole thing. And the city councils there got heated, man. They were like, oof. But the neighborhood got together and decided that decibel levels. That was going to be the thing. And if you don't know, I mean, and not for nothing, because we do love the Strat, by the way. But back in the day, you couldn't go there. By the way, it's changed a lot ever since they have the Harrah there back there. It's evolved. Let's just say that it's nowhere near what it used to be. It's not like the Naked City we knew. But there was a time when you had to have a driver's license. You actually take a cab to that area. Thank you, sir. Alex is out. See you, buddy. You had to have a driver's license that said you lived there. You couldn't just go there and visit.
Really?
Yeah, you couldn't just. So what people would do is take a taxi, go to Naked City, conduct some kind of business, and leave.
Oh.
So they wanted to stop people from conducting any kind of business. And so you had to actually have a driver's license that said, hey, I live literally there.
Wow.
Or they wouldn't take you there.
What if you just moved in town and that's the place you ended up
By
being?
the way, there was some national news. If you there was actually some bad things that happened back there. By the way, wait, remember this is like 20 years ago, so that's not a thing anymore. What's that? What happened when?
Like what if you just moved in and somehow you ended up living, there? Would you not be able to go home because the cop is like, no, you don't have a license to live here.
Have you read my hat, dude?
Oh, okay.
Have you read my hat?
Okay.
All right, good. I don't even need to say anything anymore. I just got this. I just go, hey, look here. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Anybody have any questions about that? Any feedback? I'm trying to be interactive here.
It says, your birthday will be the National Keno Day.
Oh, my God. That would be great. I would love that. Imagine that. I'm a popularizer. People don't understand how avid Keno players are. We Keno players, dude.
I can't read this because we might get demonetized. But you should read the last chat thing.
Uh-oh. Really? Is it gonna make me sad? No.
No.
All
it's
right.
Interesting fact about Naked City.
Yeah. No, that I believe. There's actually a worse story that happened in a taxi cab. Believe it or not. And you can look it up. It was many years ago, but it was horrible. And I think that's what drew a lot of attention, and that's what instigated the whole thing with the taxi drivers, because the taxis people would hire a taxi, go there, and sometimes didn't work out well for the taxi driver. In this case, that's what happened, the taxi driver. But we're trying to keep things positive because a lot of other negative stuff, and this happened many years ago, so we don't want to take away from the neighborhood now. By the way, neighborhood, community center, they have new buildings, new development, upgraded place. So it's really come a long way. I will say that. I mean, definitely before long. In fact, the area opposite that, I have a friend of mine who has real estate there, and that whole area has improved dramatically. It's being, I would say, slowly gentrified to some degree, not totally, but there's a lot more high rises and condos and things like this. They've been slowly sort of dismantling a lot of the old downtown areas and slowly putting up, artsy places, foofy places. I mean, if you want $30 ice cream cones, they got it downtown now, quite literally, okay? We stopped at a place it just happened to be lit up, and they had a little booth right outside, and me and Dennis stopped there because we had been getting, froyo. We get froyo sometimes, whatever. We pull in. Two really nice ladies. And it's like it wasn't vegan, right? It was vegan. It was vegan?
Yeah, so.
Oh, that's what. No wonder. I should have known. It might have been organic vegan ice cream is what it was. And with 21, mine, I think, did yours have a 24 karat foil on it, or was that mine?
No, that was yours.
We always want to eat as much gold as we can.
That was the first time you got the more expensive
What are the dietary guidelines for gold, just so I know? You know what I mean?
don't know. I didn't even know you could eat gold.
And does it come out? Does it come out afterwards so you can like sift through it and
oh
you know what I mean, work it out?
That's gross.
Can I put a filter in the toilet kind of thing and just follow up with that a week later?
That's gross.
Yeah, because I want to know, inquiring minds, dude. Okay, there's a need, But anyways, it was $30-something. They were really good, by the way. I listen. It was fantastic ice cream, but who'd have thought they have Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Average table rates right now in Vegas. Oh yeah. Well, this is true. Okay. Craps in October. Florida, Tampa, Hard Rock. Oh, yeah. No kidding. I mean, that's the biggest problem. Where do you get crap dealers? We don't even have enough crap dealers in Vegas. It's unbelievable. They don't have crap dealers in Colorado, Idaho, all over the country now. That's adding craps. No crap dealers. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get my class next week will be the biggest it's ever been. We don't even have a room. I mean, we have room because we have 2 tables. I have a coach coming in to help me out. But I mean, if you're in Vegas, you got to learn dice, dude. Dice is big. You can go anywhere in the country and big. All right, we're going to get back to that. We got more news. David's take on the news, so to speak. All right, you ready?
Ready.
I was a huge fan. This is slide number 10. I was a huge fan of Evel Knievel growing up. And if you didn't know, Evel Knievel definitely had a place here in Vegas. And when I say a place, I don't mean necessarily a home here in Vegas, but he definitely played a role. I mean, he jumped over the fountains at Caesars, and I think he attempted one, right? He tried to get over the Grand Canyon. I don't know if that worked out so well for him. I think his son ended up, but anyways, so the Evel Knievel Museum is moving to downtown Vegas here in the near future. They have it's currently in Topeka, Kansas. But they're trying to move it to the Arts District. What I think would be a huge win. There's a lot that Evel Knievel can draw from in terms of the Vegas crowd. For those of us who have been here a while, I mean, we remember. I mean, he jumped the fountains. I'm pretty sure the Grand Canyon, right? But he didn't make it. He had that rocket cart, got almost halfway there. He broke any bone that he hadn't broke earlier because he had the record for Guinness for all the bone. He broke every bone in his body like several times.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's what he wasn't. He was in the. I think he was in the Guinness for like one jump, but like his big record in Guinness Book of World's Record was literally for breaking all his bones, like quite literally, like over and over again, like every bone.
Was
like,
it at the same time or just like over time?
And there, by the way, there's a few bones in that list that I'd be like, oof, like oh my god, are you kidding me? How'd you break that one? Yeah.
Oof.
So I think when he went over the Grand Canyon, I think he broke whatever he hadn't broken earlier. That just sort of finished the list. You know what I mean?
How do you even keep track of that? Like,
I mean, dude, you go to the doctor and they write down what the hell's going on with you.
And you have to send this to the World Guinness like record person?
I would. Are you kidding me? 100%. Any way I can get into the Guinness Book of World Records, man. Did you see all those poor cats? All those they were trying to get the my buddy. They were trying to get the fat cat record, and the Guinness was like, "Please, for the love of God, stop overfeeding your cats."
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. So they no longer take obesity records anymore. They stopped doing that because people were like, "Oh hell yeah, I'm going for that record.
I'm going for the fat. Yeah.
I'm going for the biggie." Yeah. I think they stopped that. But people were literally fattening up their animals. Say, look at me. Fluffy is like 200 pounds. And be like, holy Jesus.
Oof, that's terrible.
That is terrible. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Poor Fluffy. Meanwhile, my cat Bally, he's a biggin.
But your cat is a Maine Coon. It's like huge anyways.
It's a massive cat, dude. He's like 31, 32. He's actually gained a little weight. But he's getting old. He's an end of life type of thing. And so we just let him do his own thing. Yeah. It takes him literally like half a day to get up the stairs. He goes up one level at a time.
Really?
And I got one of those upside down houses, split level house.
Oh yeah,
that's what they call it. You know, it's stairs. So it's up down all day long with the damn stairs. And Bailey's like, oof. He goes up one landing, rests for a little while. We have a little thing of water right there, some food. You know what I mean?
Is it like water and food every step?
Yeah, every each landing, and then he gets up to the next one, and then boom. He's happy. Well, he's a happy cat. He loves it. All right. So here's the next big one. Because again, this is a part of the boomer crowd, but this is sort of, these people we grew up with. Kiss.
I actually know Kiss.
You know Kiss?
Yeah.
No way. Oh, you know Kiss? Well, yeah, because you're in a classic hits. This is a classic hits. There's Gene Simmons' tongue. That gives a willies to a few people, just so you know. That got him a few dates. That's what he was famous for. Literally.
I probably got him a lot of dates, dude.
No, that got him a lot of dates. I mean, look at the tongue, dude. It's ridiculous. But anyways, he's coming to Vegas. They're actually coming. They're going to have a residency here in Vegas, all you Kiss fans, and at the Planet Hollywood, of course, which makes sense. So the residency is coming December 27th, end of December, and is expected to run through February of 2022.
By the way,
yep.
You put on the slide PH, and some people are not going to think of Planet Hollywood, just so you know.
Oh, really?
They're going to think of Orange YouTube.
Oh, really? Oh, my God. Swear to God?
Yeah.
How would I know that, dude? How would I know that, dude?
Because Alex always tells you about
Really?
PH Premium.
Oh, God. Well, there you go. So they're not coming to. Man, you're gonna go to Steam. PH is for Planet Hollywood here in Vegas, just so we're clear. Okay, all right. So there's kisses coming. All right, it's amazing. Look, I'm just nothing but news today. I'm trying to get everybody updated. The next one is gonna be my favorite because I've always wondered what the hell. They always promise these kids like a show here in Vegas, so now they're gonna literally have a show in Vegas. AGT is gonna have a show at the Luxor. They're featuring the AGT winners, so they don't even need to like get them a show. They are the show.
Oh, America's Got Talent. I was like, what's AGT?
Those us AGT fans, we know. The kids today. They don't understand. Everything is like, yeah, AGT, America's Got Talent. It's gonna be an actual show at the Luxor. They might have actually had this show before, but anyways, I was excited to see this news. But it's coming, and there's gonna be some the biggest names and some of the biggest winners. I'm guessing they're just gonna have this, and then they're gonna throw all the winners over there. You want to be in a Vegas show? We got the show for you.
Really, the winners?
Well, it used to be that they promised you like an actual show. There's a few of the AGT winners show that have actual shows here. I think the what is it called, the Jabberwockies or whatever the hell those are. They were on AGT.
No idea
They won one of the years, and so the Jabberwockies. Somebody in the chat knows what I'm talking about, but they have a show here. There's a few ones. That magician. Remember that magician last year's winner has a show here. He's big.
Chris Angel?
No, not Chris Angel. No, he's an Asian guy with the cards and stuff like this. Anyways,
dude, that's every magician with the cards.
Every magician with the cards. Every magician. Well, anyways, this one specific, you guys know, he has a show here. So they used to say, listen, you win AGT, we'll help you get a show in Vegas. Now AGT is the show. You know what I mean? Do you understand how that works?
No, I get it.
Genius. Okay, genius. All right, ready? All right. Okay, moving on. Moving on to the big ones. Okay,
Kim Lin?
Huh?
Is it Kim Lin?
That's it. That's the guy. See? The one guy with the card tricks. You don't know. That's
dude,
the
that's
guy.
every
If
guy.
You didn't know anything.
Dude, that's so vague.
Oh, my God. He's going on. He doesn't know anything. He's post-teen, guys. He does post-teen. Doesn't know anything.
By definition, you're post-teen.
Well, I'm far post-teen. There's pre-teen, there's teen, and there's post-teen. Those are the dangerous years. Anyways, all right, so here, we're getting to rumors next. You ready? You want to hear some rumors? Here we go. So we're going to try to keep this as positive as we can, but it's almost impossible because, things are the way they are. And we're coming to slide number 14. So here's what we're hearing behind the scenes. Rumor mill. So I'm guessing that the Caesars vaccine pass. The vaccine pass may be coming to a casino near you. Casinos are pushing. So a lot of casinos, if you haven't heard, they're pushing their employees to get vaccinated. So the deal is this. You either get vaccinated or you have to show a weekly negative test for COVID-19. Otherwise,
weekly negative test?
Weekly. You got to pay the cost. You can't use your insurance. You have to pay for it yourself. So my guess is that at some point these businesses, and again, we don't have much control over this, but the group of casinos as a casino group pretty much have a lot of the power. Well, it's them and the strip joints. I think the Bunny Ranch has a lot of power here in the state.
God.
I think they're all powered up, so to speak.
Urban Dictionary, that term. We can't define it here on the live.
No, that's an actual business out here, dude. Bunny Ranch. Yeah.
Oh, you weren't talking about the other one?
You're not 21 yet. That's right. I forgot yet. No,
you're not talking about the other one?
No, maybe not.
Okay,
but anyways, let's just say a lot of power. And so we've been hearing from the fringes that they might be looking at some type of vaccine pass, which I know for many of you would really suck. We don't want to be carrying around a vaccine. I mean, a pass, let's say, to get where we're going, or a health card or health pass. I'm not sure where this is going to go. We're going to keep tabs on this and let you know how this plays out. We talked to quite a few casino partners, and I think right now the gist of it is we're going to start asking our patrons to have a vaccine pass, like literally to get in, or show a negative COVID test. And I think some of these casinos, because they get so many people in the doors, are willing to hang their hats out to make this a thing. And the Harrah's is literally test case number one. A lot of casinos are going to be paying attention to Harrah's New Orleans and see how that pans out.
I mean, I don't know how that's gonna go, to be honest with you.
I mean, it can go either way. We hear from it either way. Our stand is we're a business. We need customers, and we don't want to get sick, obviously. Those are all given. And at this point, we're kind of a wait and see type of scenario, right? But it will definitely have a big impact in the coming weeks. So what I will say is, it's interestingly, things here in Vegas have slowed down to some degree. I think the Delta thing is really catching up to a lot of the places where people come. So like if you talk about Canada, we have a lot of people that come from Canada on a regular basis, and we have a lot of people that come from Texas, Florida, a lot of the states that are being impacted negatively for whatever reason. And so we have seen, we've had a couple groups, for example, cancel recently here at Casino Quest. We've had people not register at the school because they're afraid of being in a crowded environment, or it's not all that crowded, to be honest. And everybody's required to wear a mask, so there is an indoor mask mandate here in the state of Nevada per the governor. Now we have also heard that there is talk about maybe even a federal mandate, or maybe the governor might come up with some kind of other decrees here in the very near future. As you may have heard, Nevada has been on the list of states that impact because of our lower vaccination rate. So everything is a wait and see. I have friends of mine that work at the Mountain Vista Hospital. They're out of beds. Last I spoke with them, they had to cancel all elective surgeries, which really sucked. We know someone who has cancer, and they haven't been able to get treatment for that cancer because of the delay in elective surgeries. So they're kind of sitting back in a wait and see too. And I'm sure that's got to be nerve-wracking, man, to be at home waiting and trying to figure out what to do when you have a very serious condition needs to be addressed. I mean, there's just no win, right?
Yeah.
So I think for the rest of it, go ahead.
DJ Spam is asking, are you saying passports for employees or customers, or both?
I think both. Wow. I think right now, there are some major properties who are already, they have literally crossed that line. If you're an employee, you have to either show proof of vaccination, or you have to present a negative test every week. Every week you have to come to work and you have to present a negative test. At some point, because they're getting coverage from even the Supreme Court when it comes to mandating, so most employers are safe in saying we're going to mandate that our employees get vaccinated, or they're going to not be able to work with us. So as far as the liability associated with that, most of the courts have stood on the side of companies in that respect, so that companies are perfectly capable of making that demand of their employees. So the casinos have jumped on this bandwagon almost to a T. There are still a few properties that I know of where it's neither here or there. They don't ask for any proof from their employees. They just they're masking up. In fact, there are casinos I know that are so desperate for employees they're not going to take that stance. But that's not true of all the casinos. And I without any doubt, in a couple weeks, I would say you're going to see a casino here in Vegas cross that line and start asking its patrons to have some type of proof that they don't have, that they're even vaccinated or they're negative. Wow. So we'll see. Like I said, so Harrah's New Orleans is number one. They just did that. And that's going to be the bar. I mean, if that place has to shut down, they have no customers. I mean, obviously the casinos will have to take a second look at it. But if it's a choice, by the way, between a mandate and having to shut down your business, I mean, as a business, you don't have a whole lot of choices, right? If the state requires that your employees are vaccinated, I mean, or you move the needle that way. I mean, we don't have a choice. I mean, we can't not provide a place for a customer. If we were to shut down again, it would be brutal. I mean, there's no other way forward. There's no more money coming. There's no more stimulus checks that we know of. Maybe that'll change. There's no more grants. There's no more of these matching employee funds. I mean, everything is kind of, that's it.
Yeah,
we're all in.
You got to put your foot on the gas and
it's
keep
like
going.
the end of the road.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, where do we go from here? I'm not really sure. I mean, and I'm not taking a stance either way. I personally have been vaccinated. I held out to quite literally the last minute. I wasn't happy that the vaccines weren't approved by the FDA. I was looking forward to that being a thing. I know that it takes a whole lot of time. They go through the efficacy and testing cycles, stuff like this. But I did get that. My mother, for example, she hates vaccines. She's really nervous about having anything injected in her. And she's an older woman. Obviously, most of her life she hasn't had to get any vaccines except for polio, of course. And so, but there's moving forward and standing still and moving back. I mean, what are you gonna do? I haven't had a lot of choice in the matter. Let's just say that. So there's that. All right, what else you got? Anything else positive?
We got a $5 super chat from Kevin. He says, off topic, but hi guys. Finally caught another stream low. I'll be in Vegas Wednesday through Sunday. Hopefully, be able to meet up. Thank you all.
Come see us. Yes, thank you. All right, good. All right, ready? Next rumor. What else we got? So, anybody? How many likes do we got? 100 likes. Do we even have we had 100 people?
We're at 126 right now.
Wow, 100 likes. We're giving away CEG lanyard, so 100 likes. And any super chat where you want a tote, you can super chat for the tote. $20 though, okay? Because that'll pay for the tote and our shipping. $20. You can get one of the last totes that we have. Did I mention that? All right, moving on. Okay, good. Next up, in the rumor mill, we have Durango Station. Okay, ready? That's slide number 15. You see that? We did our homework, man. We are a news machine. So we're summing up all the good stories and the stories we have context for. So this has been out there. If you're not familiar with Vegas, there's a loop that the 215 goes sort of around the outside of Vegas. It's one of these loops. And IKEA has a store quite literally across from where this location is. So IKEA finally came to town after many years, strangely enough. And have I ever told you my IKEA story?
Which IKEA story?
So I was in Arizona for a minute, and I happened to buy not a lot, but a bunch of IKEA furniture. And so I hired some movers to come and move me. And they came to my house, and they put together an invoice for like what it would cost for them to move, which was literally like a quarter of what I thought it was going to cost based on their rates, because I had like a whole place, 2 bedrooms, everything else. And they're like, oh, yeah, we don't move IKEA furniture. You won't need to move that with you. It won't make it. And I'm like, what do you mean it won't make it?
Wow, really?
It's like, yeah, they refused. This is like Mayflower, dude. They can look it up. They won't move IKEA furniture because apparently it's so cheap.
Wow.
It's meant to be used at your apartment and left because they don't want to take the risk of having moved it and having it fall apart on the way over, which I didn't know this. I've always thought it was,
So what did you do with the furniture? Did you just leave it?
Yeah, I left it. I tried to give it away to like the place, and they're like, "Oh hell no, you got to empty it." So I had to break it apart and move it. I couldn't believe it. I said, "Listen, I want to donate it to whoever moves in," and then I'm like, "Listen, maybe whoever moves in doesn't want your crappy ass furniture." You know what I mean? I thought I was doing a good deed, and I'm like, no, they didn't believe that. So anyways, yeah, so I had to break it apart. I went in there with a hammer. I got out a bunch of rage. I went in there with a hammer and just hammered it up.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. There's a whole business based on that, dude. There's actually
the rage rooms.
Exactly, the rage room. We just bust to get a hammer up. I really enjoyed that. That was actually a lot of fun. Room. I broke a wall by accident though, so that didn't work out so well. I overraged. I overraged myself. But anyway, so Durango Station supposedly coming 2023, 2024. Just so we're clear, this sign has been up since the Flintstones first came on the scene, okay? This sign has been up not quite that long, but a long flipping time. They've been talking about it. They've owned this land forever, dude. I'm not even sure what forever means, but literally, I'm guessing over 10 years. They keep talking about, hey, they can open this day. And it's a big-ass plot of land. And originally, it was talked about being a competitor to Red Rock. So there's nothing up this way.
Really? But why would you compete against your own property?
No, I mean, like, in terms of like style and grandeur, like they built Red Rock as sort of their premier, Green Valley's another premier, something along those lines. A pretty exclusive. There's a lot of money up here, dude. There's a lot of money in this side of town. I mean,
Durango.
Yeah, Durango and 215. That's why they put IKEA there.
Oh yeah,
which makes no sense. It's so weird to see IKEA is like constantly busy, dude.
It is.
Those Swedish meatballs are fantastic, just so you know.
It's the cheap furniture.
You don't even know this, but they actually have like a once in a year buffet event.
Really?
Oh yeah. Alex took me. Alex and his buddy Micah took me. Yeah, you can mukbang their Swedish meatballs. I went there and their sweets, everything. It's fantastic.
I'm shooketh.
I'm shook it too. I didn't know it was a thing. I couldn't believe it. They're like, no way. Yeah, they're like, we got tickets. You have to get tickets. It's so popular. You have to get
tickets.
Yeah,
you can't just walk up.
Nope. You got to have tickets in advance. You got to have tickets. You got to reserve.
How did I never hear about this?
I'm telling you, man. Listen. You got to be. Alex knows food. I tell people Alex knows food. They don't believe. Alex knows where to eat, when to eat, how to eat. I mean, he knows food, dude. I mean, literally. Who would have known IKEA has a buffet once a year, like as an event? Who shows up for that event? A lot of people. We were busy. It was busy. I just had Swedish meatballs for like an hour straight, followed by some cake they had, and they had these
How was the cake?
The cake was fantastic. It was like a cheesecake kind of thing, but I guess it was like a Swedish type of thing. It was really good. It was fantastic. I can't even describe it because I don't know food, but it was really good. And the Swedish meatballs, I mean, they're Sweden. They make Swedish meatballs like they're, like Swedish meatballs should be made sort of thing, all right? All right, but anyway, so Durango Station comes. I'll be very excited, I have to say. We do like that they're expanding out. I do wonder what the hell. They still have 3 casinos that haven't been opened yet. They have the Texas Station, Fiesta Rancho, and Fiesta Henderson. So my thoughts are Fiesta Henderson has the easiest way back because that place was, I wouldn't say packed or busy packed, but it was a pretty good, pretty regular place. I loved playing there. I loved the people there. I loved the machines, the mix of machines. It's a big old property. It had a lot of really good features, and I'm sure a lot of people in Henderson miss that because the casinos that they have now have not replaced. Henderson is underserved when it comes to a local casino. Obviously there's downtown. You have the Pass. There's a few nickel places, a few low end places, but in terms of a station casino with all the amenities, there's nothing. Oh, there is Sunset. I forgot Sunset. Holy crap. There is a big fat Sunset Station. We love Sunset Station too. So yeah, my bad.
There's that Emerald Casino.
Yeah, that Emerald. Yeah. They mostly slots. I don't think they have any table.
No,
games.
They just have slots. They were expanding their slots thing.
They ran us out of the Pass.
Oh yeah.
We got run out.
We talked about it.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. Yeah, that experience wasn't fun. But anyways, all right, ready? Next up, we have any more commentaries? How many likes are we at? Half, 50, 30? What's going on? Why don't we have 100 likes by now? How long are we
at 81.
This? Oh, 81? Oh, that's easy. Derek has like 12 more accounts to work through.
Someone told me get that fly because they saw the fly.
Yeah, the fly. Yeah, no, I know. How the hell did a fly make it in here? My God,
I have no idea.
That is one industrious fly. Okay, you ready? Here comes the big win of the week. Slot number. Now we're on to big wins. Do you have a big wins graphic?
No.
Big fat wins here in town. There was a few. In fact, we met one of the dealers who was at Harrah's. This guy hit a progressive. I forget what it was. A table game progressive. I think a table game progressive. $1 million. Tip 15,000.
DJ Spam donates $20. Here's to Sticky's 21st birthday bash.
Oh, Sticky's
Hopefully
thing is at 350-ish now, huh?
He said, hopefully I'll be able to 10 next year. Give away the toad at 100 likes.
Wow. All right, fantastic. Oh, yeah, we'll add a tote to 100 likes? Okay, good. We can add a tote. 100%. Tote's coming. All right, ready? So Wheel of Fortune hit, which this always depresses me because I keep playing Wheel of Fortune. I just can't hit. I just
get whacked.
The $1 million has been elusive. And, yeah, I just get whacked. I have one on the 1,000. I've actually cast 2,000. I started a Monopoly machine, and this was at the MGM. I started a Monopoly machine. I moved to Wheel of Fortune. I got the 1,000. And yeah, it was fantastic. I ended up cashing out like $2,000 there at one point. It was shocking because I was literally, if you guys know, towards the back where you go into where they have this one gift shop where you can get, a friend of mine was just going into the gift shop, get some smokes. I was sitting out there in the little ante room there, and it just happened to be a Monopoly machine, and I underfed it. I didn't play max quarters, or I underfed it, and I actually won, and but I was bored and I moved over, and the next ended up at this one, or not this exact machine, unfortunately. But anyways, here's the lady. Do you see the picture of the lady? Look, she's so excited, dude. She's so excited. She's at the Venetian, so she's probably already just rich as hell. Probably retired. No, I don't know. But anyway, she turned a $2 bet into $1,021,000 playing Wheel of Fortune 3, 4, 5 times at the Venetian. So congratulations. And of course, it's funny because every casino, people always ask, like, why do the casinos advertise this? Well, because they want you to think that this is like, on any average day, people are hitting millions of dollars on our casino slot floor.
Come get your jackpot type of thing.
Yeah, come get your jackpot. No, 100%. So they love. In fact, if you go to like Aliante or some casinos, they have it over the loudspeaker. They announce every jackpot that's hitting, which annoys the crap out of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the guy next to me just hit for 2,500, and the guy across from me for 1,000. I'm the only person. Apparently, I'm paying the bills all by myself. Meanwhile, everybody else is winning jackpots. You know what I'm saying? What I love is I went with somebody, a friend of mine, not too long ago, to Aliante, by the way. And we're sitting there, and my friend's playing video poker, and I'm playing right next to them playing Keno. And they're giving me, of course, they're a hater. They're talking a lot of crap about my Keno. Meanwhile, we hear over the loudspeaker like the next 10 people, winners, all on Keno machines. 4-card Keno, quarter Keno, 10-cent Keno. And guess what my friend does? Moves over a machine on the other side, starts playing Keno, but too embarrassed to play next to me. Goes for the Keno win. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Then they lost all their money. They were very upset.
Oh, oof.
It didn't work out so well.
I was kind of hoping for like a victory story.
Yeah. No, there was no victory story back then, dude. There was no victory story. We had another friend that was behind us playing Buffalo, build up a hold'em. I had another friend on a big ass Buffalo machine, up $600 off a $30 buy-in supposedly, and then puts it all back. Like literally would not leave the damn machine. I'm like, dude, $600 win off $30. Now's the time to go to the bathroom and get the hell out. Like literally get your, hit the button. Some people just can't hit that collect ticket button. They just, it's so hard, And
look, I gotta win my money back.
It was their first time in Vegas, dude. What kind of money are they gonna win back? How much are they in?
Their mortgage, dude. Their
mortgage. Mortgage? Oh my God. They were in $30. They were so, and even afterwards, this is like the gambler's fallacy. They're like, well, I was only in $30. Well, that's true, but you could have taken me to a nice dinner with that $600. Okay. Yeah, but it's not about you, David. Well, it should be. It should be about me. But yeah, it was so funny because they kept getting up to go to the bathroom. That was their one release from the machine, and having someone hold the machine to be like, listen, can you watch my machine? I'm like, dude, you're up $600. Why am I watching your machine? You could pay somebody to watch your machine at this point. I mean, and stop going to the flipping bathroom. Just cash it out and just get the hell, go home and go to the bathroom. Like,
look, do you? They need to protect the winning machine, dude.
Dude, it was getting a little bit silly. And then at the end, they're like, and then they sit down next to me. And they're just as excited as he was when they started the machine. And meanwhile, I'm like, okay, well, how much did you cash out with? They're like, nothing. Nothing.
Wow.
You had nothing? You went through all $600? Jesus. That's what happens, dude. These are the kind of friends. These friends hit jackpots and don't take you out to eat before they lose all their money back. I don't understand. Makes no sense to me.
So it's okay if they lost all their money. It just matters if they didn't take you out to eat.
Well, yeah, because that's the only way I'm getting any of that money is I got to go eat. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like they're going to cash out and share it with me on the way out. Like, my God. I have had people do that, man. Really, I have one friend of mine who was famous for walking in a casino. If they hit anything, they shared it with everybody they were with.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because they felt like it was karma. Like, if you went with them, that's why they won. It was fantastic. Yeah.
So you would go with that person, basically.
Oh, hell yeah. I'd be like, I'd call them up. Listen, are we going gambling today? Okay, you buying? Yeah. So we had a few times. There was one time he got really lucky at Blackjack. And, split everything. I have a friend of mine who ended up with an extra sports ticket one time, if you can believe that. An extra winning sports ticket that he didn't think was going to win, and so he ended up cashing it out, and he cashed it out obviously because it won. That's so stupid. I don't know why I said it like that, but he had this ticket that he went in thinking that it was a loser, ended up being a winner, and because he already had resigned himself to having lost his ticket, he shared the ticket with everybody.
Wow.
That's gambler's BS logic. I think Derek thinks like that.
Wait, you know what you should tell them? The story of that lady who like she gave you money and then asked for it like years later.
Oh yeah, well that was okay. Hold on, I gotta get through my other stuff. We're not story time with David yet, dude.
It's just a graphic away. See, there we go. We're story time.
Oh my God, you just put up a graphic and we go right to story time. No, we gotta go to the good. I have a better story. Have I told the guy about the guy on my couch?
No, I didn't even know what you're
who borrowed the money. We got to get to the guy on my couch. That's the real gambler story. By the way, God rest his soul. By the way, oof, we're gonna get to that story.
Just tell both stories.
For those of you who want a story that ends in sadness but starts out pretty funny, it's a pretty funny story, dude. All right, ready? I don't remember the story you're talking about, to be honest with you. Like, I'm striking
You told me this at the gym. So
Really?
So it was like someone gave you money after they won a jackpot. And then like a while later they were like, "Hey, you owe me that $100."
Oh yeah. No, that's true. We've all been out with people like that. Yeah, I know who that is, by the way. And yeah, well, no, this friend on my couch, that's a better story. There's more drama. That lady was just stupid. Okay?
But that's the only reason I mentioned it is because it's like the gambler's fallacy.
No, the gambler's fallacy was the guy on my couch, dude. The guy who lived on my couch. I mean, it was unbelievable. That's a better story. But here's the thing. Ready? Let's get to the good. We went to some local places here. We wanna sort of talk about real quickly because we love it. So if you didn't already know, there's a TV station in town that's focusing on veteran-owned businesses here in town. Like if you're a veteran-led business and you're coming into business, by the way, it's a tough time to get started in business. And those of us who are in business, holy crap, it's a tough time to be in business. Did I mention that? It's like really nerve-wracking, tough time because there's lots of uncertainty. Day to day is a whole different thing of problems and issues, and But here's the thing. This guy, I saw him on the news. I forgot what the news station is, but they were profiling his business. He just started this business. It just came. And this is a business where it's a Marco's Pizza. He opened a Marco's Pizza for his son to manage, by the way. We got to meet one of the owners, and we went out there, and I wanted to introduce, there's Sticky at the door, opening the door, as he does. And if you haven't been to a Marco's Pizza, they're known for like the zesty sauce. They're like the Prego of spaghetti sauces. It's a zesty sauce. It's not so much about the toppings, although we really enjoyed this, by the way. And instead of just promoting this as a veteran-led pizza, we actually had the pizza, and that's slide number 21. That's us with once we were a little bit late taking the picture. I had already downed a slice because I was a bit hungry. And it was really good. The sausage was fantastic. The meats are all fresh. He talked about how they're like they're the In-N-Out burger. They're like the In-N-Out burger. Everything's fresh. That was really, really good. This is our new go-to pizza, and it's close to the school, by the way, Marco's Pizza. So congratulations to you, sir, for a job well done. Thank you for your service, and thank you for opening. We wish you absolutely the best of luck. And we really did 100% love. They're on West Charleston. They're Charleston and they're west of Decatur. Jones, Charleston and Jones. They're on Charleston and Jones, right by the intersection there, right before Dottie's. Just so you know, there's a Dottie's right there.
Look, not everyone has a Dottie's radar.
Listen, it's right before the Dottie's on Charleston and Jones. You know where I'm talking. Okay, so if you're at Dottie's, you hit some big, you just walk over, you get your Marco's Pizza, and go back to playing.
It's actually a really good pizza for the price. It
was great. It was $11, and we had one of their specialty pizzas. And with this pizza that you were seeing has like the sausage was fantastic. I'm usually not a big fan of sausage. I'll be honest. I like meatballs and pineapple, that kind of thing. But this sausage was really good. All right, the next one up after this, I was going to take. I'm taking Dennis home. And of course, we eat a lot of frozen yogurt, man. I mean, it's literally just insanity, dude.
A little bit too much, to be honest.
Yeah, probably a little too much. We're getting a little bit frozen yogurted out. Well, we came across this ice cream shop in the middle of nowhere. I just happened to turn in. We actually turned in here to eat the damn pizza, and so, because if you didn't know already, it's averaging about 108 degrees. You got to get the car going. Really, you can't eat the pizza right at the place because once you get in your car, you got to move your car so the air conditioning drops the temperature in your car enough so that you can actually eat or do something other than pant. And so here we drove all the way down Lake Mead on the way to his place. We drove into this parking lot, and we just happened to see this ice cream shop. And it's how do you pronounce it, buddy? Michoacana. It's this. So they make their own ice cream, and it's based on a recipe in Mexico that they used to do, and it was literally unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, with everything else I got going on in the world, I literally made time today to put these. Can you show them the picture of my dessert in the cup? And by the way, we originally thought this is a small. I mean, they don't know small. They just know big, massive, and holy crap, you're going to gain a lot of weight. Those are the only sizes they got. I don't understand. We originally were looking at the cups. The cups were like, but what they do is they go overfloweth kind of thing. When I was a kid, I used to go to this place, this dairy farm that happened to be near me, and they had this little roadside. Many of us, if we grew up in New England or the East Coast, wherever you're from, maybe they had a little dairy farm, and there'd be like a little ice cream stand during the summer months. And there was a place near me called Ullman's, Uhlmans, and that's all they had was that during the summer months they had an ice cream stand out there, and their kids worked the ice cream stand. It was the best ice cream I ever remember having. And this was that. I mean, instantly when I ate this ice cream, I was triggered. And the reason why is clearly because they made everything from scratch. Whatever it is, as far as like the combo of cream or whatever it is, and everybody was fantastic. The lady that served us was so genuinely nice and interactive, and it was really. This place is on Lake Mead and Decatur.
Yep.
And if you want some really fantastic ice cream, we have Cold Stone Creamery out here, which is probably a lot of people like Cold Stone. We like it. It's good. It's creamy. Thus Cold Stone Creamery. You know what I mean? But this stuff off the charts, dude.
It's really dense ice cream too.
Really dense and creamy. I mean, holy crap.
David raved about it for real.
I was triggered.
I don't
mean,
know why, because I've
dude.
had this a couple times
Yep.
already. Like not from that specific shop, but like
Yep.
the type of style.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
because
I
that's how they
haven't.
make it.
No, I've had all. When it comes to like the container, I like there's some Ben and Jerry's flavors I like. There's even a Haagen-Dazs, the vanilla bean from Haagen-Dazs. Holy crap! Throw some fudge on that one, and oh my god, that makes for some mukbang. But in terms of ice cream, it's been a long time. I was just, when you get just drawn, you're triggered. You get drawn back to your childhood. That was for me. When we had that pizza at the Hard Rock, what's it called? Hard Rock, that pizza, that New York pizza.
Yeah.
That was just good. Marco's is the best commercial pizza.
You mean Pizza Rock?
Pizza Rock. But Pizza Rock out here, holy crap. Not all their pizzas, but some of their pizzas are literally just off the charts. If you can make it down there, it's literally fantastic.
It's not cheap pizza, by the way.
Hey, did you show him slide number 24? This is the nonsense that Sticky ate. It's this fruity flippin' flavor concoction.
Yeah,
It was really good.
but I'll show him again.
Oh, you're going to show him again? Because he gets like... He gets all the fruity flavors.
This was mango and strawberry.
Mango and strawberry for all of you into mango and strawberry. There you go.
How are you not into mango and strawberry?
Listen. Mine was all about the cream and standard ice cream flavors that most of us enjoy on a regular basis. How is mango even a ice cream flavor? I don't understand. Like, how do you go up to the ice cream person and go, I would like mango? How is that an ice cream? That's like sherbet. That's not ice cream.
Okay, this is a little controversial, by the way.
That's controversial?
But how is mint ice cream a thing?
Mint. Yeah, because it's got mint in it. It's minty.
That sounds terrible.
That's
Every
good
time
for your
I taste
breath,
mint,
and
I hate
it's
it.
good for your stomach.
I hate mint ice cream.
Like mint chocolate chip? Oh,
Yeah,
you
mint
crazy?
chocolate
You're a
chip is the
crazy
worst,
person,
okay?
That's all. He's post-teen. Don't just excuse him. It's fine. He'll get over it. He's not even 21 yet. He doesn't know anything. His brain isn't fully formed.
What? I just turned 21 and I magically like.
No. They say your brain isn't completely formed until you're 26. So no one's gonna respect any opinion you have until you're that.
So I have to turn 26 and then
well,
everyone's
maybe
like
27.
Oh
Maybe
my
27. Maybe 27. But
and then I make it to 27 and it's 30.
Mango ice cream makes no sense to me. That's a fruit. But why am I eating fruit? If I want fruit, I'll go eat fruit. That's not ice cream. I want, creamy, caramel. That's not, you know what I'm saying? That is ice cream.
I love this comment.
Ah.
Dad's bullying right now.
Oh, really? Well, that's true. I always bully him.
Vegas gelato? Question mark.
It is. I don't know. Vegas gelato. Oof.
It's a little thicker than gelato.
It really is. It's really creamy. The mango. I actually tried it. I loved it, by the way. So as much as I've given him crap, I don't get it. It was literally creamy mango. I don't understand.
Ooh, Toothpick is saying, how is pineapple a pizza ingredient?
Listen, how is toothpick a name? Like, who came up with this? What's going on?
What is this, like the bullying corner?
You know
what's going on here?
Pineapple ice cream. Now that makes sense. That is a winner, sir.
Oh.
Especially.
But mango doesn't make sense?
No.
What?
No.
No.
Where do they have mangoes? Like, where do mangoes come from? Like, where do we?
Tropical areas.
Tropical areas. So
Yeah.
they grow them in California then, with lots of
or
water.
Florida.
Because you get your almonds from California, because that makes sense. Really? No, Florida. I understand that. That's tropical, right?
Yeah.
Oranges, mangoes. But all right. Well, anyways, we better move on because this is a no-win. This is a no win. But here's
so
the
you're
thing.
saying you're wrong, is what you're saying.
Let me explain to you how you're wrong, sir. Let me just educate you on the truth of life, okay? Because there are people out there who want to. All right, we got to get on to the good stories, dude. The big stories. Here we go. Ready? This is going to be less controversial and more, oh my God, did this really happen in Vegas? Vegas, by the way, is a intersection of lots of things. People who have habits, people who want to get on with their life, people who want to start over, people want to get a job, people who are just batshit crazy. can I say shit on this? Is that
I mean, you already did. I mean, I don't know why you're asking
I know.
now.
Well, anyway, so here's the thing. Can we pull up this lady? Oh wait, I got Mochican ice cream.
You gotta change the name.
I gotta change the title. Can I just put crazy person? I'm not gonna put her name up here because we don't want to shame her. Although we probably should. I'll probably mention her name because this is just crazy person. Go ahead. Is it updated with crazy person? So get this. This happened in Vegas, and I always try to. It never amazes me when I hear about the weird, like news of the weird. If you watch News of the Weird or even some of the redneck stories and things like this, a lot of these people start in Vegas. They either come to Vegas to hide out and try to get away or one last hurrah. Anyways, so this lady apparently was providing surgeries inside of her house. Meanwhile, she's like
surgeries.
Yeah. So she's a housekeeper. She was a housekeeper at some point. But apparently she loves the natural health business, and that motivated her to become her own like sort of nurse, doctor, surgical center, whatever you want to do out of her garage. Okay. So she collected a bunch of stimulants, and when they finally came to raid her place, she said, "Oh, I don't use those. I just sell them." She tells the police, "I just sell them." She says, "I don't prescribe them. I just sell them." Which somehow that's better. You know what I mean? Well, if you're not prescribing them and you're just, selling them, we understand. It's fine. So she promoted herself with business cards as a natural health counselor and family doctor. And she had operating hours, the whole thing. So
wait, out of her house?
Out of her house. So supposedly, at some point, and this isn't just like we all have, this is not a good representative of, the race of Mexicans, okay? Because she happens to be from Mexico. So apparently she took some sort of course through Mexico online somewhere that gave her some kind of credibility to pursue her passion for, surgery. Like if you had problems, you would come see her.
Okay.
And so here's what happened. So she has a bunch of different injectables throughout her garage, and apparently as they were going through it, she was going, "Oh, those I inject, those over there." They still have no idea what the hell they were. Like she was performing actual surgery and injecting people with stuff in her garage as a health practitioner with absolutely no business doing this.
Okay, but what type of surgeries was she doing?
Well, mostly these were hormonal. Like if you came to her with hormonal issues or you were looking, I have no idea, dude. I mean,
what?
It's literally like there was a lady in New York for a minute that was injecting cement into people's asses.
Cement?
Yeah, cement. And when she got arrested, she was literally trying to advocate why the cement was a good thing. Like, I think someone ended up dying. I mean, it's terrible. So if you haven't heard the warning labels before now, it's probably not a good idea to get injected in someone's garage. Like taking anything in the ass in a garage is probably not a good idea. Okay. Anyways, wow, that came out bad. Holy crap! Did I lose people? Holy shit.
Cement. I'm still stuck
No,
at cement.
cement in the ass. Yeah. She was literally giving cement injections.
Paul Peterson says rock hard cheeks.
Yeah, rock hard cheeks. No, 100%. And it's amazing. People that went south, and people were shocked, oh my god, I can't believe that went south. No, really? But anyways, these kinds of things happen in Vegas. So you want to know a good story about this? So believe it or not, I went to one of these practitioners one time.
Wait.
So, yeah. So years ago, this is okay. So here we go. This is David's story. We're gonna get to the Trop story in a minute. So the truth about Trop comes last because we try to hold you guys to the end. I know some of you, it's a little past your bedtime, of course, on a Sunday night, but so there was a time when I was broke and I had a really bad tooth. It got infected and I need to get it out. And I happened to have these two wonderful people who I called Abuelita and Abuelito that lived right down the street from where Dennis lives right now. And I love these people like you have no idea. And so I even passed in their house today. They both passed away in their 90s, so they've been gone a couple of years now. But they realized that I was in pain, and they referred me to a dentist that was operating illegally in North Las Vegas. And because I was white, because I wasn't, and I spoke a little Spanish, but because I was basically white. Am I basically white? I'm pretty white. This guy wasn't available he was only available to people that they knew that were family, right? And he was a dentist from Mexico who, if you don't know this already, there's a lot of people that come over the border. We know a lot of people come over the border, but some of them are really, they're doctors, they're architects, they're engineers, but they're not able, because they come over illegally, they're not able to get licensed here in the States. So they lose a lot of their livelihood. I knew a guy from Armenia, for example, many, many years ago, who was a doctor, like literally a neurosurgeon in Armenia, but he came over on some kind of amnesty program and was never able to get licensed officially because we didn't take whatever university he went through was not enough to be like and he didn't have enough resources to kind of go through that whole process again, right? So he was a really good neurosurgeon back in, and he ended up being a dishwasher here. He went from neurosurgeon in Armenia, dishwasher United States, and let me just say it was not good for his psyche. It was pretty devastating. But anyway, so I get referred to this dentist, and because I knew the grandparents, they referred me to him personally. And then someone had to show up with me to walk me through this whole little maze of offices to get to him. And he was literally, I had no money. I'll be honest with you, like there was no way I was getting to a dentist. So at the time, it was cash and carry kind of thing. And either that or a doorknob. I was kind of stuck, and my tooth had gotten infected. I literally had no choice. I go see this guy, and because of Grandma and Grandpa, I knew I was in good hands. I really did. There's no way they would refer me to anyone less, but I was still a bit nervous because it was a bit weird. Like I went through this whole maze of offices, and the dentist chair looked like it had been thrown away at some point. It didn't belong in any real dentist's office, this kind of thing. And then I was like, holy crap. He's back there using a torch to torch. No, I'm just kidding. No, he had everything was legit. So I went in there. It was the best experience I ever had. Best experience I ever had. Tooth came out cleanly. He cleaned everything up, patched me up. Everything was fantastic. It was the best tooth experience I ever had. And meanwhile, some years later, when I finally have some resources, I end up at this dentist who's, whacking me with a chisel. And he's like, yeah, is that okay? Are you okay? He breaks the tooth, and he's like, oof. When your dentist says oof in the middle of your procedure, it's not going to go well.
Wait, did he actually say oof?
Yeah, no, he didn't say, he goes, oops. And he's hanging on to me at the time, by the way. And he goes, oops. And I'm like, holy crap, oops. I got my mouth open. There was a tooth that got impacted, an impacted tooth he was trying to get out. And he broke it instead of pulling out one piece. And next thing you know, he's got to pull out the bigger instrument, the chisel thing. And now he's chiseling in my tooth. I hit that man, just so you know. I got 86 from a dentist chair while having a surgery, while having a procedure done. Let's just say that went south. But, there are people who have wanted to do that at the dentist, just so we know. But, yeah, he was like the rudest ass I've ever experienced. I mean, he knew I didn't have the money, or I didn't have a whole lot of money. I had to get him down. Go ahead. You got a question?
Okay, so
that's one
he
of my
broke
stories.
your tooth.
Yeah.
And then he just kicked you out.
No, he didn't kick me out. I hit him.
You hit him.
Yeah.
And then you got kicked out.
He put me through a ton of pain. I didn't hit him on purpose, to be honest with you.
It was just
trying
like
to get
pain
away
reflex?
from this dentist. This dentist was crazy, dude. He was literally like, yeah, he was crazy. He was the devil. The devil had possessed him and was working me over through my mouth. And so I decided to get out of the chair. While I was trying to get out of the chair, he really was. I mean, he was literally going for that tooth hardcore. No apologies. He's like, listen, I mean, the feeling is that I was only paying like $50 for the experience. And he wanted to get out clean. He wasn't going to give me any more Novocaine. He wasn't going to take his time. He was going in for the win kind of thing. Ooh. And it didn't go well.
So your teeth just got broken, and then you just moved on.
Yeah. So I actually had to go to I had to fix his work after the fact. So he actually did. He impacted one of the fragments of tooth ended up like in my gum. I had to go to a surgeon at UMC, or not UMC, UMC, and have it removed after it swole. It created all these problems.
So what, you had to pay for that?
Well, at that point, UMC, I mean, I got it covered, because it was a surgical procedure. That's the thing. Dentists, they got you by the balls, the short hairs. You know what I mean? You have
so
no choice.
he screwed your teeth.
No, he totally screwed my teeth. So I was right.
Didn't do anything about it.
In fact, I was under. He didn't give me any. I had a little Novocaine, the laughing gas. I don't remember him giving me any injections to the space. I mean, he really mistreated me, dude. I mean, I'm not someone who acts out like that without cause. You follow? Yeah. And so when I went to the surgery, it was about a week later. My whole face had swollen up. I was like the elephant man over here because it had gotten infected and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I had to have it removed. So that was rough.
I mean, it's just crazy. He whacked your teeth and then
Yeah.
just didn't do anything to fix it. Like
I had the worst, dude. I had the worst luck with dentists. That's why I got rid of all my teeth. I got these now. Gulpa. But yeah. But anyway, so this Mexican dentist, fantastic. Best dentist. He's gone. He's no longer there. I don't know what happened to him. I never heard, but yeah, he's no longer there. But he was fantastic. All right, am I getting a lot of negative feedback? Am I canceled?
No.
Do I need to call it a scene? Okay. Are we at 100 likes?
We're at a 102.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. No, really? That's fantastic. Well, and this is before we get to. So we're gonna get to the trop, the good, the bad, and the ugly about the trop, and the floating craps table and the lagoon pool and all that stuff. We're gonna talk about all that next. We're injecting Daddy's story. Okay, ready? We got to give this away. Do we have a graphic for the giveaway? Because we went all. By the way, thanks to Mar for having done most of these graphics, while Dennis was working on other things like his manicure, or I don't know, what were you working on? Are you working on your hair or something? What's going on?
Oh yeah, no, I just sit around and look pretty all day.
Oh well, yeah. Well, some of us are lucky that way.
Oh my God.
All right, so here we go. I'm gonna give it this way. What do I need to do? What's today's word of the day?
Really quick, James.
James.
$5 and
Wow.
just said 86. That's the only thing he said.
86. Yeah, no, I was 86 in that chair. That guy, oof, that dentist, he was so rude. He was yelling at me the whole time. He was talking crap. He was like, "We got to get this out." I mean, it's just ridiculous, dude. That guy, oof.
Someone said smile.
There they are. Look at that. Gulpa. I mean, if you're getting teeth, you got to go to Gulpa. I don't know why anybody. I mean, they're not cheap, of course, but damn. Go. All right, what's the word? We're getting a word?
Oh, I think he wants smile to be the word.
Oh, smile? Oh, perfect. Yeah, that
Or
fits
oof.
into that. Oof.
Smile or oof.
I love this oof. Taylor, man, you rock, dude. When I saw this hat, by the way, I was so excited. What's even more exciting is it fits my weird noggin. Like, it's not, my noggin's not too weird, but it's very comfortable. It's a very comfortable hat. It's a Big Daddy hat.
Julian, if you ask the question after the giveaway, we'll try to answer it.
Yeah, wait a second, because we're going to have a lot of spam here. All right, ready? Smile, everybody. Let's do hashtag smile. And then, by the way, we're going to give away the tote and the lanyard. Casino Quest tote, CEG lanyard. You get the best of both worlds. And we're off. Ready? Are they doing it?
Yeah, they're spamming
Spamming
smile.
it? All right.
Some people are spamming oof.
Oof. Well,
Someone
either
forgot
one.
an O and said of.
Of? Someone. I've been stopped by 2 people go, what happened to the W? 2 people. What happened to
Really?
the W? Yeah. I had this one old guy. He's like, yeah, was that woof? And then one person just said, what happened to the, why would the hat, your W fell off, dude. And I'm like, no, it didn't. You boomer.
Oh my God. Did you
Jesus.
actually say that?
No, I wanted to. He was younger than me. I couldn't say that. I can't say to someone younger than me they're a
Look,
boomer
look.
because that puts me in that category.
Look.
Only Lauren's a boomer, okay? Only Lauren's a boomer. She's older than me. All right, come on now. We can't let people. All right, let's just stop. Ready? Stop.
Wait. I gotta move first before
You
he
gotta
says
move.
I gotta do the spinny spin. Anyways.
You gotta do the spinny spin.
Tell me to stop now.
Stop.
Okay. 1 through 11.
1 through 11. It's got to be 11, dude.
11.
11.
We got the Sightseeing South.
Oh, I love that. Sightseeing South. Fantastic. Congratulations. Make sure to email us info@cegdealers.com or info@cegdealerschool.com to let us know your address. And make sure it's a legit address because the post office is really adamant about returning stuff that's not legit. Or if you have a German Shepherd in your front yard, it might not make it to your porch. Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Anyways,
Are
yeah.
you sure? Info@CEG or admin? I mean, info at
It doesn't matter.
MyCasinos.
Send it to any email address, anywhere, for anything, and it'll get back. No. Info@CEG Dealers. Admin? Oh, admin at My Casino Quest is the other one. Admin at mycasinoquest.com. Make sure you can email us there with your information, and Dennis will get back to you. By the way, you're welcome to write Dennis sweet nothings to that email too, because he gets
my God.
you just tell him what you think. Tell him what you think.
Here's the. I typed it in the chat. Everyone, you can type rigged now.
Can type which one?
Rigged.
Oh, it's so rigged, dude. No, it's always rigged. We knew that guy way before. Sightseeing South.
Oh,
God.
the Sightseeing South says so. It isn't rigged after all.
Yeah, I know, right? The one guy who doesn't think it's rigged is the one that won. I mean, of course. Yeah. By the way, there's a lot to see in the South. Take the route 10. You can go through everything. 10, 40 even, a little bit of the south. All right, ready? All right, now we're gonna get to the trop. And basically when we do these things, we're gonna have a new graphic. It's gonna be called the good, the bad, and the ugly. And apparently for now it's casino updates. But anyways, but what so me and Dennis are gonna go out every week. We're gonna introduce a new property, and we're gonna talk about the pros, cons, indifferences, sideways angles, whatever it is.
Sideways angles?
I mean, there's a lot of sideways stuff going on now. A lot of shifty business. Not really, but something weird. So here's what I will tell. I'm going to start with the really good stuff about the trop and the things that sort of add. I broke in 1991 at the gate, as you guys all know. But I always wanted to go to one casino besides the Mirage. Okay, 2 casinos. And the other one was the trop. So much so that I think, back in the day, you couldn't just walk into the Mirage and get an audition. Or at least I didn't know how to do that. I actually went up to the pit one time, and he was like, yeah, no, we don't just audition. You got to go through HR, all this other stuff. And I was like, oh, crap. Most casinos back in the day, you come in black and whites. You would go to the pit and say, I would like an audition. If they were hiring, they would give you an audition. If they liked you, they'd be like, you know what? They would usually hire you right on the spot if they really liked you and they had a job. If they didn't have a job, they might call you back, or basically, if you didn't get hired, you just weren't hired. They would tell you, yeah, we'll call you, and then they never called you. And you'd be checking your phone and getting a voicemail thing, and it would just never work. They just never called you. Even nowadays, like, we have dealers who, they go to the audition, and we recently had a couple dealers, and not to be, kind of a jerk about it, but, we let you know, like, what the deal is. So, like, some of these dealers will go to the audition, and they're like, oh, yeah, they really loved me. They told me they would call me back. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not a thing. They were just telling you exactly what you wanted to hear at the time to get you off their property without shooting up the place. You know what I mean?
Oh my, yeah.
Thanks for stopping by, but get the hell out. And so if when you pass the audition, if you legitimately pass the audition, it's very, very rarely the casinos will, like, go through this whole calling back. Although there are some properties who go through a process where you go to, like, a group interview, but that's the process. That's a process. If you go up to a break-in house and you audition and they say they'll call you, they're probably not going to call you. That's kind of a thing, right? But anyway, so the one property I was able to audition at, like, a lot was a trop. So by far, of any casino I ever auditioned for, I auditioned at the trop. I would say legitimately 10 times. Never got hired, though, of course, right? 10 times at least, until the pit boss had mercy on my soul and told me, listen here, kid. He literally went to the podium. It was the same guy. I'd audition with the same dude every time. I'd ask, when's your shift? When can I come back? Because he was the one guy that would, like, talk to me and humor me, put me in on a game. I'd audition, yada, yada. And most of the time he's like, yeah, you're looking good, getting better. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll need you, yada, yada, whatever. He'd always give me some BS, but I would always come back, like, a month, 2 months, sometimes a year later, whatever the case was. So anyways, one time he tells me, wow, you're looking good. You're a great dice dealer. I only auditioned on dice this one day. Normally I would audition on 2 games. This time only dice. And he goes to the podium and he pulls out this list. And on the very back of this clipboard is a list of names. And he's like, you're not one of these names. And that means you don't know anybody. So, like, I can't hire you if you don't know anybody. And I'm like, well, who do I need to know? Like, I'll just go meet them, because I'm naive at this point. I knew juice played a role. But I'd never seen it so up close and personal. Like, literally, if you're not on this list, I can't hire you. I have no control. He even told me, listen, if I would hire you in a minute, but I got to do these 20 people or whatever it was first before I'm going to get to you. And some of them suck. Some of them legitimately suck as dealers. Like, quite literally, that's almost not verbatim exactly, but that's what he told me. And that was it. I was heartbroken. I left that place that day. And I remember, like, I changed the whole course of how I went about auditioning, and I, people wonder why I worked some of the middle of the road jobs. And I did that because I stopped aiming so high. I just figured it was all rigged. And in many cases it was rigged. They would tell you it wasn't rigged, but it was rigged. Most of the dealers in town know it was a pretty rigged type of environment back then. So, luckily I got into the Dunes. I auditioned at the Dunes about 4 months before they were going to be shut down and then imploded, or scheduled to be imploded. And the guy's like, yeah, kid, you're good. I'm going to hire you right today. Can you start tomorrow? And I'm like, wow, really? And he's like, yeah, we need dealers. because everybody was bailing, dude. They were gonna blow the place up. Yeah, that didn't work out. But luckily, someone had mercy on my soul at the Rio, and I managed to pull it together, have a great audition. I got hired. That was easily the best paying job, best toke job, best action job. Pretty much the best memories I have as a dealer, hands down, for the most part. But anyways, so there's my take in the Trop. So here's what the Trop had to offer back in the day. Number one, we have a picture up here of the floating craps table, but this is not from the Trop's floating craps table. This is actually the Sands Casino had this floating craps table. Can they see this? You guys... They have, we actually managed to get to the executive offices of the Trop not too long ago, and they have a picture on one of the walls that has what used to be, it's just a picture of, there's no people around it, but of the floating craps table they used to have in the Trop Lagoon pool. And it was legitimately a thing. I saw it. I mean, I would hang out by the pool and try to get there. It was also the casino that I stayed at the most. I could tell you the types of rooms before they had, so they had the tower, but if you didn't want to walk your ass all the way to the flipping tower, you get the motel style rooms that are in the front of the property, which we have pictures for. We're going to kind of show you. We're going to give you the whole tour of the Trop. And the difference was they still had tubs. They started getting rid of the tubs, those stand only showers in the towers. If you wanted a tub, you had to use one of the original sort of motel rooms that they had. So the other thing they had besides this massive lagoon complex, I mean, I don't know who had a lagoon pool before the Trop, but my memory was that the Trop was it. When it came to pools, that was the pool. There were some really nice pools. Yeah. Some celebrity pools that had the cabanas, the service like that. But the Trop is literally the lagoon pool. They're the one that made that a thing. And then other casinos sort of tried to, create or duplicate that experience. And they also had, when on the tower side, they had this walkway over to the one tower that had all these exotic birds, these parrots and things, all these birds from these tropical bird collection that they had. And some of them were parrots, and they had I forget what those other what is it called? Oh man! But anyways, tropical birds. I'm not a bird guy, but really cool looking birds. Cockatoos. I don't know. Anyway, he's not a bird guy either. But they had this really cool walkway with all these exotic birds, and that was another really cool thing. You walked over to the tower, and you got to pass by all these fantastic birds, and that's just some of them. The other memory I have is when you used to walk up you come from ballet or the front doors, you used to walk up, and to the right there was this lounge. They always had this lounge act going on the right-hand side, then the pit was on the left, the cage is towards the back, and it was a pretty small pit. Like the pit they have now is much bigger. I mean, I wouldn't say much bigger, but bigger in scope. I guess we're about where the high limit pit is now, or maybe even the gift shop. Coming over the gift shop is where the lounge act was, and that's a pretty cool lounge acts. And the other thing that the Trop was famous for those of you who used to frequent it, is that the cocktail waitress would have these bars that they rolled around with. You didn't have to go to the bar. You played, and they would have these literally, and they were like thunderous. That you could hear them coming up on you. I mean, there were these big ass carts that had like the whole bar in this cart. All sorts of liquor and beer and everything else, and whatever you wanted was right. They didn't have to go anywhere. They just do it right there, right then. In the last time they had these carts was sometime, I'm guessing around the Northridge Quake. I was living in California at the time. I came to Vegas, got to stay at the Trop, and I remember they had these carts still, and it scared the crap out of me because the carts would like shake the floor a little bit. Oh, and really? I had just escaped the Northridge Quake because I lived in Los Feliz at the time. Well, a little bit Silver Lake, towards Silver Lake, where some of the quake got, it was my apartment broke in half, by the way. That's a different story. But that was what the Trop was famous for. It was famous for sort of that loungy, personal, intimate. I mean, it was just such a great place. It was quite literally my favorite casino floor. I played there all the time, even when I didn't have a lot of resources. They had this 99 club at one point that I was a member of, that where you can call in and in advance and get discounted rooms. It might have been the 39 club, might have even been the 69 club. I don't know, something with a 9 in it. And you can call in advance. You got a room rate that was discounted, and it was always for those motel rooms with the tubs, which is is what I wanted anyways. I didn't want to stay in the tower, because if you went to the tower, you had to lug your ass It was almost like what the MGM became, where that whole mile from the parking lot to front desk to your actual room, you know what I mean? You need like intermission. You know, it's quite the cardio. You know, if you were short cardio for that day, no worries. You know what I mean? But the Trop Towers were set back. And by the way, that was always the big secret. If you stayed at the Trop, you wanted to make sure to hit that bellman. You know what I mean? You didn't want to park. You wanted to get to valet and get that bellman to get your stuff, because if you had to haul your luggage to one of the towers, it was just quite the walk. In fact, when we were there, just the other day, we heard this woman literally complaining about the walk. She was like, "Thank God I don't have my luggage. My luggage already was taken care of, because oh my God, it's quite the walk." But anyways, that was what I remember of the Trop. The Trop today is what happened. Who's here? Someone's here?
Jesse?
Oh, Jesse? Wow. The Trop today is literally a whole nother thing. And we have this tour for you as soon as Dennis gets back. Apparently we have somebody on the outs. All right, so we're going to do, we're on casino updates. Okay. Dennis, can you put up the tour? Oh, my God. Hey, buddy.
What happened?
Can you put up the tour, the Trop tour? Let's show them the tour. Let's start. We're gonna give you the play-by-play. We're gonna let the pictures do the walking. So, if you didn't already know, the Trop was recently sold. It's no longer part of Penn Gaming, although Penn Gaming, I guess, is gonna manage it for a while. We used to supply dealers to the Trop. We don't anymore. I think we saw one dealer there who was one of ours, who was originally from another casinos. We're there now. But we started on the outskirts of the property, and as you can see, this split shot here, the left side is one of the towers, and the right side are those motel-looking rooms, like I talked about, that have the tubs. And then they have this beach club they added, which that was something later. I don't remember them having that back when I went, but that's something relatively new, or not new. Now remember, not too long ago, the Trop went through this big renovation. They upgraded the front. They renovated rooms and things like this. But let me just say, they haven't done a whole lot since then. All right, let's go to picture number 2. Did you show them the floating craps? Yeah, they already saw that one. Oh, God, can you imagine playing craps in the middle of a pool? I mean, holy crap. Okay, well, there's another picture of the big-ass tower. Looking pretty good, not too bad. Here we're coming to the motel. What I call them the motel rooms, obviously. And then here is the sort of walkway up to the Trop, and you can't see the drabness, but you can start to see the lack of there's not a lot of landscaping. We have some pictures back. I can't believe it. They must have fired all their landscaping crew. There's literally no landscaping going on. But anyways, here we go into the Tropicana. We were careful to avoid faces and names. We don't have anybody, but it's a little bit bleak. There's less action than you might think, given that most other properties are fairly busy.
And you can see the dirt right here.
Here's the interesting thing. So, I think they have newer carpet at the El Cortez. I can't attest that exactly, but let's just say this carpet needs a lot of work. Like their landscapers are on strike, and whoever does their carpet cleaning is gone. By the way, this is going to be a little of a roast. I'm really sorry. I mean, truth kind of hurts, but not to say there's a lot of room for improvement, which there is. We just want to point out some of the deficits that need to be addressed before. We were there one time. We were told they had plenty of customers there. They didn't need any customers. We were trying to work with them a little bit. But anyways, yeah. All right, let's go. Let's do the rest of it.
More drop pictures.
You got more pictures, buddy?
There we go. Yeah.
There we go.
I had to change something.
All right, here we go. Ready? All right, so looking good. As you can see, it's got that whole vibe of tropical something or other. This is the Red Lotus, which we didn't eat there. They have Asian noodles. It looked very clean. Didn't have. By the way, so just for context, and we're gonna let you guys figure the rest out. This is Friday at 5:30 p.m.
Oh yeah.
Because at 6 p.m. we ended up next door. So 5:30 p.m. This is a Friday at 5:30 p.m. All right, let's go. What do you got next? Okay, this is the Robert Irvine's draft house, and we ate there. This is sort of the William Hill Sportsbook, which of course Caesars now is taking over, bought William Hill. So some of those will either be rebranded, I guess, if it's in a Harrah's property. Well, go back to Michael Irvine, or Robert Irvine. So this is Robert Irvine. He's the Restaurant Impossible guy, and he has a place in there. We ate there. It was a kind of mixed review. I'll be honest with you. I did like I liked his sandwich. I had the St. Louis ribs, and I'm not a rib guy, so I can't really comment on. I feel like I would do that review misjustice. I didn't know whether they let's just say that I've always heard that the ribs I've eaten that have been expensive and which I have considered tasty, a sort of melt in your mouth kind of thing. You don't need a lot of fork, and you don't need a knife to work it out off the bone.
I'm so ready to roast this place, by the way.
Oh really?
Well, because it sucked. It sucked.
Oh my God, he went all the way there. I know.
Okay.
We're trying to be.
Look, truth is truth, and the truth is the chicken sandwich was so bland.
They had other dishes that we saw going out. I think we got the wrong dishes, to be honest.
Two wrong dishes? Okay, I can excuse one.
The fries were good.
The fries were good. But how do you mess up
I
fries?
He had a chicken sandwich. He doesn't understand because he needs like jalapeno.
No, it's not about the jalapeno. There's just no flavor to it.
It was a bit muted as far as flavor. It was very white friendly, I will say that. I mean, it is an English chef, just so you know. So it's not.
Okay.
They don't have like a jalapeno on everything.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Gordon Ramsay's an English chef, and that thing tasted amazing.
That burger was unbelievable. I gotta say, like, holy crap. If you go and watch that now, some of our other stuff is a bit like, I wouldn't say funnier, but it's sort of more candor, more off the rail. I was so shocked that I was eating a $70 meal, a burger meal that I enjoyed. I had nothing to say. I literally that was like the fewest words I've had.
Yeah, and he was willing to go back, which is the crazier part.
Yeah, that's insanity, dude. Are you kidding me? That's how good those burgers. I have to say, it was life changing in some ways.
Anyways, going back to this other restaurant.
Yeah, for a celebrity chef, we haven't had the whole best luck with celebrity chefs, dude.
Except Gordon
Emeril
Ramsay.
Lagasse whacked us with. We went there too.
Oh yeah, no, Emeril Lagasse sucks. Okay.
Dude, that place is brutal, dude. The service sucked. The bread sucked. Everything sucked. Everything.
Delmonico.
The only thing that was like, I think we had the cheesecake. It wasn't all that bad. There was some other cake that was terrible. The whole place, the steak was average. It was average, like quite literally.
And then what was the other thing?
I've had better stuff at Denny's.
Oh yeah, the ribs.
But this was sort of a mixed bag. I don't know if either one of us, because I mean, our St. Louis ribs supposed to be sort of gummy, and they're like you need a steak knife. It was a bit chewy. Is that a thing?
That's not how ribs are supposed to be. Look,
the sauce was interesting. It was a little bit tangy,
If it takes me a whole minute to chew one
bite,
I
like
it's too
the sandwich. It wasn't like a Shack sandwich, like that Shack chicken. Oh God,
Shack chicken is really good.
Really good, but. Anyways, and we saw some dishes going by that we thought, oh, we should have ordered that. You know what I mean?
Okay, but like, still, the ribs?
I know, 2 out of 2.
Chicken sandwich?
But they're supposedly famous for the ribs. I didn't get that. I don't understand. Maybe the ribs are supposed to be something else. I'm not sure. But anyways, we went there. It was like $60. The waitress was a little bit out of sorts, too. It wasn't the best experience, which is shocking because they don't have a whole lot of places to eat there. We went to. Do they have any more? We got more pictures.
No, we have more pictures.
We have more pictures. Now, just so we were told they had a lot of customers. They didn't want to do anything with us because they had a ton of customers, which I thought, this is literally supposed to be one of the busiest intersections on the planet. They have the most rooms. They have the record. This intersection in Trop in Las Vegas has the record for the most number of hotel rooms on the planet. This is their food court.
Look at all the people.
Yeah. Hey, let's not be petty, sir. Just let them look at the pictures. And
look. I'm saying look at the people, dude.
It's a food court. It's supposed to have something there. Okay, move on from the food court. This is somewhere else.
This is the food court.
This is, by the way, just so we're clear, Friday at 5:30 p.m. This is a hallway that goes on to the Oakville, which, by the way, had some customers. This is on the other side. The left side is the Oak something or other. Yeah, Savor. I don't know what the hell that is. That's something else. Oh, that's the buffet. Yeah, the buffet's closed. It's only for employees now. This is literally the pool area, which is holy crap. Oh, here's all I will say is don't walk around the pool area without some kind of footwear. And again, this is the entrance to the pool area. I guess it said the pool was closed, but there were people at the pool and there were people working the pool. I'm not sure what that's all about. But the pool is no longer like the lagoon that it used to be. It's sort of half a pool. Again, the landscapers are on strike. That other grass you see there is fake grass. It's not actual grass because we're going to show you the actual grass outside later. Yeah, so this is outside the pool area, and this is like all of the whole area out there. I'm not sure what's going on. They must have been a tropical storm came in, and I mean, not really sure what the hell is happening there. But yeah, so. Yep. Anyways, everybody seeing this? Okay, so this is walking down on the right is what used to be, I guess, a famous breakfast place. On the left there is the Oakville Steakhouse. It's open a couple days a week, 5 to 11 now. We did see that place busy. We thought about eating there for a minute. At the same prices as Robert Irvine's thing, by the way. Oh, there it is, Oakville. And we opted out. Now, here is the hallway. This used to be where the exotic birds used to be, and it's now a whole bunch of shuttered stores. I guess there used to be little mini stores there. That woman down on the left is the one that complained that she was thankful she didn't have her luggage. And that was literally that guy and that woman, and that's pretty much it. Who we experienced until we got to the very end. There's a few, I guess, storefronts. I'm not sure what that is. Okay, this is an overlook on the pool from the window of that hallway. You could see out on the pool. And all right, where else? Here we go. We're going more tour, and then this is the one side of the the tiki side of the Tropicana. All right, keep going because this is as we're leaving. Okay, ready? Up. Okay, so here it is. There's fake grass leaning into, and there was literally debris everywhere on the outside of this property. I'm not sure what the hell's going on, but someone at the Trop needs to look at this and like get their act together because I think this is just creating a bad, And okay, so here's where they have a bit of real grass. This is actually not fake grass. This is actual real landscaping, and it's like the only property I know of on the strip that just said screw it. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not looking good. Not looking good. Okay, there you go. Good, the bad, and the ugly. That's literally right outside the entrance, the ballet entrance. Like, what the hell's going on there? And then we're looking over to Oyo's on the other side. Holy crap.
And that's the last picture.
We were going to go over to Oyo, and but we didn't want to make this like a 2-hour roast. But anyways, I will say this. I am very sad to see the Trop at this kind of stage. I definitely feel like if with its new owners, maybe they'll be incentivized to put some money in it and go a new direction. I mean, the Trop has, there was one area I was showing him where it played a role in Vegas Vacation, also the South Park, one of the South Park episodes where they put that big Indian in the middle of it. And I haven't been to the Trop in a long time. Me and Alex went up the other valet, and we went and visited the pit when one of our friends was the casino manager there. And so we just visited the pit, and we left. We didn't really experience, which is a good thing because I would have shed a tear. It was really sad to see a major property in that state of existence, and quite literally the people there they're just checked out. They're gonna hate to hear this, but like I said, man, I'm always gonna be honest. I'm always gonna say what I feel, and that's the truth. If you go there today, you're gonna find some great deals, or maybe not some great deals. The room's got to be cheap. We didn't see a whole lot of activity back in the towers. There was a spa there that had some people in it when we went back there, so no takeaway there. I will say this: they have a veterans thing that we got.
Oh no, that was good.
That was good. Right outside the restaurant, it said, "Go sign up and get veterans card."
Yeah, it was like my choice or something.
Yep, and you get 10% off everything basically. And so we did that, and I got a coupon right there. That was exciting. I got a coupon to go to Robert Irvine's thing. But yeah, they definitely have some work to do on the Tropicana. I mean,
look, the property has good bones.
Good bones?
Good bones.
Wow. Good bones. Yeah, it has good memories, dude. It's a property I love so much. Like, if you go to the Mirage right now, you'll see a property who clearly is a bit dated. I mean, it's but there's still some attention. I mean, they're still invested. You could tell that property is still well, it's managed, and it's, there's this property needs some work, dude. Quick.
A couple questions are coming in. So Bear Down asks, has Circus better than this?
I mean, wow. I might say it's Circus. Yeah, I literally might say it's Circus. If I'm going to conventions, I'm staying at Circus. I'm not going to Trop.
Justin Taylor says, at the intersection, how can you mess that up so much?
Dude, it's amazing.
It should be gold mine.
It should be a gold mine. I literally sat there with the AGM. Alex knows his name. Not to be, but this guy literally, it's the first time I've ever heard this from a business owner, by the way, or someone that's invested into a property.
By the way, he's not there anymore.
He's not there anymore. He's since been, I don't know where he is. But anyways, he told us, he's like, listen, I have plenty of customers. Customers aren't my problem. And we're like, well, great. That's fantastic to be you. And then he was drilling us about, which part of the property do we feel would be the best fit? And we're like, dude, it's your property. Where would you like us? Like, we're here. We're just some little dude, trying to create some synergy and, kind of. So, the conversations we were having basically is me and Alex wanted to work with a casino that we felt had the most potential opportunity to sort of send players. A casino that's willing to have, cheaper games and focus on service. Like, obviously we have a huge, I wouldn't say huge, but, we have people who are fans of, play craps, play roulette, play table games. And if we're going to tell them, hey, go to this casino, we want it to be a legitimately good experience. Like, we want to create an opportunity to just work with that casino and say, listen, we want to get discounts for our people. We want cheaper rooms. We want, And so we approached some of the people we knew, and we got a meeting with this AGM because we had friends that were at the Trop. And so now, mind you, we didn't go in there with any expectation. I mean, at this point in John, this was quite a while ago. Me and Alex had zero expectation and zero entitlement, and we hadn't really created a lot of. We were just looking for an opportunity. We didn't want them to pay us anything, although we were talking about possibly maybe a shuttle that they could provide or this kind of thing, because we felt like how do we get people from here to there sort of thing. And so, but we were open to, input, suggestion, and this guy just shut us down. I mean, at one point he just raised his voice telling us like, what do you know about our property? And where do you think our traffic, our biggest ingress is? And I'm like, I don't even care where your biggest, we'll go with your least ingress because we're having success with no ingress. We just want to be a destination at your property. Like, so stop trying to communicate how big and illustrious your property is, because clearly that's not the case. And you're right. If you're at the intersection of Trop and Las Vegas Boulevard and you're not servicing that demand, you've lost something. Because if you go across the street to the Excalibur, by the way, you'll see a lot of flipping people. Yeah. And you'll see landscaping and you'll see basic stuff.
No, yeah, and it's a good property. I love the Luxor.
Really? You like Excalibur?
The Luxor.
The Luxor is a little.
I haven't been to Excalibur since I was a kid.
Really?
A young kid.
Really? But it's you'll see here. Let's see here. Here. All right. Anyway, what other questions we have?
Someone already answered this question, but they asked, does Trop have free parking? Yes, it does.
Yes. So that's the one great thing about the Trop. I thought for sure they had locked that up, but you could park right between, go to the beach side that we went to. So pull in off of Trop as you're going east from so if you're in Las Vegas Boulevard, take that left, then take a right before Oyo, between Trop and Oyo. Free parking, just park right there, walk your ass right in there. And then because if you run out of things to do at the Trop, you can always go over to Oyo, taking the view over there. We went there, by the way. Oof. Oh my God, we can't do that review, dude. What happened? What had happened? What used to be the San Remo? I love the San Remo. After the San Remo,
oh my God, I thought
it was the Hard Rock. How do you mess up? Not the Hard Rock. It was Hooters. I'm saying the Hard Rock. After it was the San Remo, it was a Hooters. You know when they went south on Hooters, dude? You know how they screwed that up? Do you know that they opened the Hooters and they didn't even have the biggest Hooters there? Oh my God, that sounds terrible. It's a it's a chicken wing place. I'm just saying the restaurant wasn't as big or bigger that you would think that if you have the Hooters. Oh my God. I just didn't even realize how that came out. If you're going to open a Hooters, you got to have the biggest Hooters. Oh my God, we're going to be so demonetized. All right. Anyway, I think if you even stay demonetized, listen, it was a Hooters restaurant. They open up the Hooters casino, and they don't even have the biggest Hooters restaurant. You know what I mean? That makes Crazy Town. There was another one in Vegas that was bigger. But why wouldn't you have the biggest one? I mean, that's the whole draw. I have that like if you go to like the Hard Rock, it's got the biggest guitar, it's got the biggest, you know what I mean? Of all the Hard Rocks, this is the biggest one. Like, when you open up the, you know what I'm saying? God, I didn't realize what I said there. I forgot that means other things. I thought it was just chicken wings at this point. But yeah, so now they even got smaller Hooters in there now. It's the smallest Hooters in town. There's no winning on this one, dude. There's no winning on this one. Now stop that, young man. Let's have a serious conversation about the
Can't
Hooters.
even talk straight.
Anyway, so now it's Oyo, and the party pit. It used to be a party pit with party pit girls, and now they ran out of party pit girls because anybody who is, it's a bit oofy. It's a mix of other things now. It's not so much a party as it is like just a place to like intersect.
I gotta read this. Someone said, "You think they would have the hardest rock?"
That's true. But yeah, no, it was the San Remo. It was perfectly fine as the well, maybe not perfectly fine as the San Remo. I hit my first paper keno there, just so you know. That's how at the San Remo.
These are too funny. Someone said, so what you're saying is they have lopsided Hooters.
Yeah, the Hooters. They got one side open, the other side's not working. You know what I mean? You got to feel that one out for yourself. That takes some hands-on effort right there to figure out which of those you're gonna go to.
Someone just said, "Oof."
Yeah. So I actually know how the casino manager that was involved with the San Remo back in the day. He wasn't known as the smartest casino head. Well, I'm gonna get so much crap. I don't even think he's around anymore. But anyways, he started off managing sort of this warehouse casino. It was a convention center casino. I don't know if anyone even remembers. There used to be one behind the convention center there. And he got a key license to be a casino manager, and so San Remo brought him over, and he was like big dog there, and he made you know it. Like, yeah, he had this big fat ring. He was one of these with these really big gold gaudy jewelry, and he's a bigger than life personality, Italian guy, And he ended up years later. And of course, back then I didn't have a pot to piss in. I was basically just a degenerate gambler as a dealer. I was your typical dealer. And I say typical, not to make fun of all the other typical dealers out there, but I'm broke, and this guy is like, king of the hill, and I'm always at the San Remo. I played at the San Remo a lot because they had this cafe there. I loved to sit there, and they had these specials, play Keno, and they had Pai Gow, very liberal Pai Gow. Back in the day, it was them and the Mirage that had the two most liberal Pai Gow setting rules, where the dealer sets rules really conservative, so there's the best chance of winning. And you can sit there with $2,500, 4 quarters, and just play all night, drink, whatever. But anyway, so this was the big guy on campus, and he had these big fat rings, and just hoity-toity. It just always just make you realize, yeah, I'm the boss. Mm-hmm. And he ran me out. So for those of you crap players out there, the crap table is on the way to the head, like right on the way to the bathroom, and so I stopped by on the way to the bathroom, and I buy in at this table. Me and a buddy of mine, we buy in for $100 each. That's it, and we're just gonna play. We're gonna play this little, it was like a $3 table. Man, it might have even been a $1 table, and we're gonna play $3 each on the 6 and 8, or $12 inside, something like this. This guy rolls for literally a half an hour. And it's nothing but inside numbers, but we're like broke anyways. We can't afford to lose. I'm not playing aggressively because I don't have near the balls at that point. But meanwhile, we end up collecting like $300 or $400 off of our bets, and we have things pressed up to like $30 each. And they were running us out in all red. There was not a single green check on the table.
Wow,
they
really?
literally were getting fills of red. This idiot box person and the floor person behind him was trying to string out this table and trying to sort of turn. So this table is just dumping money. There was only like 6 of us on the whole game. This table's dumping money, and he's paying out color for color. 10 with 20 odds on the 4, let's say. It's going to pay $50 flipping dollars. He's giving us no greens, not a green in the rail. All of us at this table, we're getting nothing but red and white. I have like 300 in red. My buddy has like 500 in red. No greens. They're not coloring up any payout, any bet. Even the place bets we have on the table are literally in red. Like one guy's got like $50 on the 5, and it's literally 10 red checks, quite literally. And we're starting to get pissed because, as you can imagine, all this red on the table is slowing the game down. Between rolls, all the dealers, they have to break down these bets, and then they have to pay us color for color, and the boxman's giving them crap, and the floor supervisor's getting crap, and quite literally, everybody is yelling, and we're getting upset at this point. Like, we're all strung out in red checks. The guy's on a hot roll. Let's not screw this up. Let's have some, make this a bit copacetic. And of course, what's his face comes over, big old casino manager. He's like, what's the problem here? You guys have a problem with this? You're winning money? You got a problem? You don't have 2 hands? We'll give you guys racks. We got racks over here. He's telling us we got racks to give you guys to rack our checks off of a flipping table. How many people have ever been to a casino where they throw you a rack and tell you, go ahead and rock it? I mean, and poker players get racks because they get strung out. They play the same number. You know what I mean? You pick up your racks. That's what you do. You come up, if you're buying for enough money, you get racks, and you play off your racks because you're going to use all that color up. You follow? Don't players, for example, they'll get extra stack of red or extra stack of green because they'll be run out. They'll get strung out in that same color. You know, I even tell dealers, don't color up don't players because they're going to need it. They're going to go through the numbers. They got to put twice as much to win half as much or three, whatever the case is. But I've never been on a table where the casino manager comes up and goes, we got racks. You guys got hands. You got racks over here. What do you got? What are you complaining about? Are you kidding me? We don't have any rack. We got no room left in the rack. You know, you're literally breaking down. This was that guy, quite literally. It was the strangest thing that had never happened to me before. And of course, I can't say anything because you don't want to run afoul of some of these people back in the day, and you don't know who he's connected to or what's going on. But anyways, so I run into him. You want to know how full circle this business is?
Sure.
So years later, if some of you don't know, I did have some success later in life, and outside of gaming a little bit, to be honest. In gaming, I was still making decent money and I was doing well, but I did have some success outside of gaming. And so I had some money, and I used to play quite a bit at Boulder Station. And I had a host. I had my own host there. I was a president. I never got the chairman status, but I got the president status playing penny keno. They were always shocked about that. I played a lot of penny keno. I literally was there just like every day, hanging out with my coffee.
You realize how degenerate that
No,
sentence
totally
is?
degenerate. I was addicted to keno. Needless to say, I guess who I run into, who's now a host. He's not even he's like a regular casino host at Boulder Station. Now, no takeaway from Boulder Station. I love Boulder Station. I have always loved playing there. I love the amenities. I'm a fan of Burger King. Okay, call me crazy. I mean, he's gonna roll his eyes there. If they had a Taco Bell in there, I'd have gone to heaven. Okay, I'd have just. If they had a Denny's, oh my God. They had the Boiler Room. For those of you who have been down there, it's a perfectly fine steakhouse. They have Burger King.
They got a movie theater. They got an AMC in there.
They had this little dance hall there. They had a lot of nice stuff, dude. I mean, they still do. That it's funny because you see that place. That's like a little mini city there. That place is going humming like 6 o'clock in the morning. They still have a Western Union there. People were still Western Union. I mean, they might have a stagecoach outside at some point. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's going on in there, but they have a whole Keno lounge. Like, they're big. Boulder was big on Keno, dude. The only thing I wasn't the biggest fan of is the buffet. It was a bit oofy. I would go to Texas Station, eat the buffet, believe it or not, and then come back and play more. But they have a whole Keno lounge. Anytime there was an upgrade to Keno, boy, they had those machines quick. They had 20 card, like they're going out of style. But I ran into this dude, this San Remo dude, and I ran into him in a big way. He had to write me a comp.
Oh, so he was your host?
Oh, he wasn't my host. But so what happened was my host, Mrs. Glocker, Nancy Glocker, fantastic host, by the way. She goes on either vacation, goes out of town, whatever the case is. I have a comp supposed to be waiting for me for the steakhouse. A nice comp, too, for a whole group, 4 people, okay? I go down to Boulder, and can I say this idiot? This guy. Did I say this idiot?
I think it's too late.
Well, it's funny because at first he doesn't recognize me, and then he does recognize me. He actually did know who I was. I brought it up to him. Oh, yeah, remember me from the San Remo? And he's like, yeah, no, San Remo. I mean, really? Because, we don't like to fall quite literally. He went from casino manager to, host at Boulder.
Wow.
I could see you being I'm the host at the Wynn. I'm the host of Aria. But a host at Boulder is kind of like a low bar. Like a pretty flippin' low bar. You know what I mean?
It's not a step up. It's like a lateral move at best.
Yeah. If you're at you're doing car sales, you might be washing the cars at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. And so this guy, of course, he doesn't realize that he thinks that it's just a regular points comp. He doesn't realize that it's off of I'm given a free comp. So that was the thing. Back in the day, you can get comps off, not associated with your points. Now with Station, everything is point-based. You have the points, they give you the comp, and you go eat. But back in the day, if you played enough, they would give you comps separately, not affecting your points. This was one of those for 4 people at the Boiler Room. It was like $200 comp just based off penny Keno play. Can you believe it? Holy crap. Anyways, but they used to hook me up there. When Boulder would hook me, they would call me. When my machine was up, my host would call me at my house and say, David, I got your coffee and your machine. Kid you not. And I would go down there. They would have it turned off, ready for me. They would literally go in there with the key and turn it off, have it ready for me, my Keno machine.
Wow.
I'd like to play one machine. That was it. And I didn't have the best luck at that machine, by the way.
That's why they kept that machine there.
Yeah. They loved it. I just liked it. I don't know why I liked it so much. I just did. It was out of the way. It was sort of towards the end. I didn't get bothered, but I loved all the people there. We had this. I had to finish the story. So this guy, he sees who I am, and he thinks that I'm just getting a point comp, but he doesn't write it up correctly. I end up at the boiler room with this BS comp, this BS point comp. They try to take it from the point until they realize that this guy miswrote it. He's only been there apparently like a week. I had never seen him before. So I got to call him up and give him a whole bunch of crap. I'm like, dude,
Wow.
get your ass down to the boiler room or fix this comp so it doesn't come off my points. You know what I mean? And it was a bit satisfying. I gotta say, because he was an idiot. Anyways, there's that. But let's just say this here. This is the kind of business you have to know this. This is the gaming business. It's a circle. It's a circle, and it's like a circle of life. You never know who you're gonna work for, who's gonna work for you, where you're gonna be. I might be somewhere. I mean, at this point, the next stage is just death. You know what I mean? Like wherever I'm going now, you know. But you gotta be nice to people coming up and going down. You know, that way you don't make a disaster for yourself in the works, sort of thing. All right. Well, anyways.
So a couple questions.
Go.
Crispy to the previous story said, why all the red?
Dude, so back in the day, there was a few ways to change the game. So one of the things was they would try to get the dice off the game if they could. They went off the table, they'd be like, oh, I can't find it. I've actually watched floor supervisors kick dice further so that the shooter could not call same dice. Like I literally had, because you know, if you're in the middle of a big roll, you know, you say same dice. A lot of people like doing that. They feel like they're connected to those. Those are the dice. Those are the bones. I want to throw those bones, right? And a supervisor, I have watched. I know of a few casinos where a supervisor will just Now this is not so much nowadays, but back in the day, they'd kick the dice. Go, oh, I can't find it. They'd be just kicking it. Next thing you know, they're at the cafe, and you know it's like a mile away from the table. I still can't find it. I have no idea where this dice is. You know, this die is. So they try to change up the equipment on the table. They'll try to tap out dealers. I've had the stick changed on me. I've had the bowl changed on me. The other thing they would do is change the tempo of the game. So, for example, nowadays you would never, I wouldn't say never see this, but they would literally hold up the dice in the middle of the roll. A floor supervisor, I work for a boss. He would call for a fill. If he saw a table dumping money, he'd either call for a fill or a credit, whether it needed it or not. So that way security comes up, he could stop the game, and now it stops all the momentum. It stops whatever. You know how you're in the zone.
In the mode, you're like,
you got it.
Yeah,
everything. Yeah. Everybody's all excited. You got roll after roll. They would do anything they could to sort of change the momentum of that game. One way to change the momentum is to also, when I worked at the Gold Coast, and Godfrey will tell you this, because he still works there. But they used to speed up the dice. They'd be like, let's get a roll. It'd be like window washers. You know what I mean? I mean, you'd be going like, this is the dice. You'd be running over. He would have you running over the dealers. Maybe not him exactly, but it was him. But maybe not him. But anyways, this is back when they sweat the money a little bit. Maybe they still do. I'm not sure. But they would have you moving the stick. It's stick. And they would tell you, just get a roll. And you'd be like, well, the dealer's got all his bets up to pay. They'd be like, I don't care. Get a roll, you know? So they would do that. And then, of course, they would just string you out in color. So that'll slow up the game because now the dealer, imagine, I've actually seen $90 in red stacked up on a place bet for the 6.
Really?
So, yeah, 100%. Then the dealer has to run that down. The camera can't see it. You still have to follow a basic protocol.
Wait, even as dealer, you can't like break it down, like you can't exchange it?
If the supervisor doesn't put out green for you or restricts you from converting the bet to green, there's nothing else you can do. So I was at a casino one time with high limits, and I had a bet where I believe it got to about $1,450, $1,450. I think it was $1,450, all in green.
Wow.
All in green. Refused to put out black. Did not want to pay this man in black at 14. Can you imagine just green? I didn't even have it in one stack. I kept asking, what do you want me to do with this? We just sat it in the cum as a place bet. It was the most ridiculous thing. Because at that point, no one's following. No one has any idea. Surveillance, most cases, surveillance knows little about dice. That's the truth. They have surveillance is underserved when it comes to people who are knowledgeable about craps on any real level. Like they know how the button works, they know how the bonus bets work and the numbers, how the numbers roll and the points are made. But if you ask them what 1450 pays, they don't know what that pays.
Yeah.
Do you know what it pays?
Off the top of my head.
1575. Okay. 12 pays 14.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I got that wrong. And 250. I actually got that wrong. See, I was thinking 1350 was the bet. 1350 was the bet. Pays 1475, not 1450. Anyways, so yeah. Why? What's the next question? Did someone call me on that? Oh my God, I'm terrible.
No, it's no one called you on that. You
1350.
did that too quickly for anyone to call you on
1350 was
that.
the bet. All right, what else? But yeah, so that's what they would do. You might see that now. By the way, if I saw that now, knowing what I know and where I'm at in life, I'd be like, there's no flipping way. This is absolutely absurd. There's absolutely no reason to run out a table like that in red. There was literally not a green check on the table. I was playing with a buddy of mine, Kevin. We were both there together. And he was like, because he wasn't a dice dealer. He was like, what the hell's going on here? He's like, dude, this guy's just trying to change the momentum. That's all there is. There's like no reason to have a game like that, right? And by the way, so years ago, some of the bonuses that went out to bosses were sort of attached to the drop and the win. You know, so if you didn't have a win, you know, there's epic stories of like, you know, for a whole quarter, you have a winning pit, and then bam, in the last hour, you get whacked. Some one dude comes in and whacks you, and now you get zero bonus. You know, you got nothing. Like, you know, I've seen that. I've had pits do that. The problem is that, you know, some of the people that have higher limits or come in, they come in at the worst times. You know what I mean? What do you got?
There's a lot.
Oh, really? I'll answer. I got you. What do you got?
Paul asked, did you use your host for anything bizarre?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Man, I'm sure I did, dude. I'm sure I did. Nothing bizarre. Not too bizarre. So I was very specific. I used to like a certain type of coffee cup. That's not really bizarre. And I used to have to like, I wanted the machine wiped down. It was Boulder Station. No, I shouldn't say that. They got rid of the coffee cups there. I used to have these coffee mugs they'd put out for us, and I would get that. But nothing. No, I never really got anything too crazy. I was pretty vanilla when it came to comps. I've had friends of mine that have had some really wicked. I had a friend of mine that was staying at the Mirage. He was very wealthy. He was a horse trader, and he came from a very, very wealthy family. And somehow he got them to get a steak dinner delivered from a restaurant outside of the Mirage he didn't like the steak that they served at the Mirage, basically. But he was a very wealthy dude. He could get, so, you know, Batista's Hole in the Wall is a great example. A lot of people don't know Batista. It's across from Bally sports book, right across the street, really. And it was a famous destination. Back in the day, there were a lot of casinos that comp people to that. I know Caesar's Palace comped my friend, Caesar's Palace, to Batista's.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They took us in their limousine to Batista's. Back in the day, you had the restaurants like Piero's and Ferraro's. You know, these restaurants, they were the staple of casino hosts. I mean, the concierge, they used to send you to these because casinos weren't known for food. Yeah. They had cafes, or some of them had great steakhouses. I mean, you can name the Hugo Cellar back in the day was a big one, still is. The steakhouse at Circus, amazingly, is still, you know, big. But most cases, restaurants were, you know, local places. They were right off the strip. But Batista's was big. I've actually my buddy got us comped to Batista's probably like 3 times. One of them straight out of Caesars, dude. Like straight out of Caesars. But I was always impressed. We were staying at the Mirage. We got tickets. That's when I got to see Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was there with his wife, who at the time, Reese Shriver, and his mom. And they went to see, oh my God, those two magicians they both passed away now. You know what I'm talking about? He doesn't know. He just doesn't know.
I don't know.
I've literally flipped a switch. My brain is not working. You guys know. Back at the Mirage, back in the day with the Tigers. Anyways.
Well, next question is, David.
Yep.
Del Taco or Taco Bell?
I like Del Taco. I think Alex likes Del Taco better than I do, by the way. Is that like an upgrade from Taco Bell?
I like it.
Really?
I like Del Taco.
Holy crap. Are you serious?
I mean, it's not like
Taco?
It's not
Really?
like my first place to go to get a taco, but
Really?
if it was
He
between
doesn't like
Taco Bell,
Roberto's, dude.
if it was Taco Bell versus Del Taco, I'm going to Del Taco.
He hasn't been drunk on a Tuesday. That's his problem. He'll like Roberto's eventually. Roberto's is like, I was just listening to. So if you didn't know Roberto, there are almost as many Robertos in town as there are Dottie's at this point. Like they're attached to every gasoline station known to man here in town. And if you go for the meat, I don't even know if they have. It's just meat and the tortilla, whatever the hell. It's just you know what I mean. And then they give you all the. Have you been to a Roberto's too?
I have been to Roberto's before. I have someone who loves the steak fries.
Oh really? At Roberto's?
Yeah.
I've been to Roberto's many times, but none of them I can remember. I literally, you're either high or drunk, and Roberto's is just there. You're on your way home, you need to get gas, or you don't need to get gas, you run into Roberto's, and it was cheap. I mean, that's how they've done well. I mean, you know, you're not looking for an expensive taco at a gas station. You need a cheap taco that has all the meat you need. I mean, I know people who literally go to Roberto's, order the big fat taco, and eat for like a few days on the meat. You know what I mean?
Few days?
A lot of meat. I mean, that's
few days?
I mean, maybe not days, but it's good. He doesn't like it because he doesn't know anything. But they're good. They're great if you really got the munchies and you want some cheap food. Yeah. What do you got? What else? Next up.
Where's the question? I just lost it.
We're still at Daddy David's story time. Oh my God. I mean.
Well, wait, what's story time? You're on Q&A now? We can do Q&A.
Oh, look at that. We got graphic for everything, dude. Holy crap.
David asked, Daddy David, I'm coming to Vegas on Wednesday. Play block with me again, question mark?
What kind of block we talk about, where, when, and how? Believe it or not, Stratosphere has one of the top. I don't know why. It's amazing how much of a place Stratosphere has become. Quite literally. It's quite something.
Oh, you know what? I completely forgot this one. I completely missed it earlier. But
it?
Derek asked, as a joke, I'm assuming, you know, can you get to the dealer school? With the dealer school, can you get to Cosmo straight from the dealer school?
No, you cannot get to Cosmo. Anyone telling you that crap is literally full of it.
Selling you snake oil.
Snake oil. I sat down with a student not too long ago who has lots of juice. Everybody comes and sits down. They got they know everybody they need to know, and that's great. If you come to the school and you're already juiced in, fantastic. We'll teach you everything you need to know, and then you can just do that for yourself. And if you've got the juice, the problem is, in all realism and all practicality, in order to get to the Cosmo, in order to be a Cosmo dealer or any dealer at that level, you gotta have presence in the game. I know I talk about it, but it's not a thing. You can be. I mean, it is a thing. You can't. The mechanics of dealing is one thing. You can be mechanically a fantastic dealer, and we've had many of those. We have many people that come out of school and are fantastic dealers on their own right. You know, they need some polish, they need some experience, but until you have experience dealing with, you know, certain types of player activity, the way players try to take advantage of the game, the way players don't take advantage of the game, you know, communicating directly with players, dealing with difficult situations, dealing at scale and high limit, it's presence. So even if you have all the juice in the world and for some reason, let's say, they want to put you on the floor of this high, don't do it. Don't do it. Because you're not going to do that job justice. You're only going to, you know, collapse. I mean, I had all the ego you can imagine. I mean, well, I wasn't the best, so maybe that's not true. But you need to break in. You need to get over all those fundamentals and evolve. And it does take a bit of an evolution. It really does. And so, you know, juice and knowing people is fantastic. In some cases, it can kind of open some doors, especially if you have family that's in the business, because a lot of these casinos love when you have family or friends, and they know that you have a good background and reference points, and your credit works and all this other stuff. But, you know, evolving the presence on the game is big. Go.
Interesting questions.
Go.
Did you play on the Aruzi game yet?
Yeah, we played it.
Someone asked
live. Or not live, we recorded it live.
Someone asked, how is it rolling the dice on the glass?
You know what? I thought it would be a little funkier than it turned. It wasn't that bad. It's got about the same bounce that I'm used to here. It wasn't overly bouncy. It's a bit of a thuddy kind of roll. Mm-hmm. So like, but I've had the same experience at a lot of like station casinos. I think, you know, where you don't have, if you don't have any it didn't feel like there was a lot of bounce. So if you're not used to a lot of bounce. Believe it or not, there were like 3 setters on the game. So there were three guys who were setters, and they were comfortable with it. It wasn't bad. I have to say that game has come a long way. When me and Alex first played it about 3 years ago, I think about 2018 maybe. We weren't. I mean, the lights and everything. It looks really cool. By the way, it's. I love how they fire up the bets, so even the dealer supervisors, they can see where the bets are going, even if they can't see the screens themselves. It looks pretty cool. For the most part, we were able to get our bets in. We got locked out a few times, which saved us some money. So that wasn't bad. I guess it all really matters on the pace of the game. The problem really is that you have to manage all your action. So if you're someone who's used to having a dealer do it, this is not that, obviously. All your action with, it's easier to play these games if you're playing Blackjack, and Roulette. Because maybe not Roulette so much, right? Because I think Roulette, you're used to servicing your own bets. You don't have to deal with servicing your own bets. But on a craps table, a dealer services your bets for a reason. Because even if you're not a contract player, meaning you're not getting into a contract where you're not having the dealer set up bets. So there is a way where you can go up to a table and say, listen, dealer, I want 32 across all the time working. And that dealer will say bet, and they'll have you put the money down, 7 out, give me the money again, whatever the case. They're there to service the bet. But there's also a bit of an interactive play that's not so much contract play. If I have a player who's 22 inside, and they're single or double pressing, or they have some system they worked out, I can help them service that action. And many of you've been to maybe not break-in places, but more experienced dealers. They're there to help you and engage. You're used to that kind of dynamic. Like you don't have to say a whole lot. You don't have to do a whole lot. You can collect your money. I have a lot of players that used to play with me that once I know how you play, I mean, you just set your money down and I just go to town. I mean, you don't have to talk to me again. You can just wave your finger or whatever the case is. I mean, you can't do that on this table. And that's why I think that ultimately, as fun as this table is for a certain type of player and for people that we had fun. We had fun. I would play that game again. I just would not play it all the time. I mean, I'm not looking for that kind of interaction.
Yeah.
I want to deal with that kind. And there was a few times I forgot to bet, or I couldn't get my bet down, or whatever the case is, something that took away from me managing my system. And good luck if you're doing an iron cross and having to manage, 3, even now if you're someone who's following Mel and you're doing like easy 5, if you're doing 5 hopping and this kind of thing, good luck getting all those bets in. It's not going to happen. Or if you're doing a regress, any kind of regression system, if you're doing double tap, it is tough. Getting the double tap thing, swiping down, getting those bets off, and then putting them back on was not always easy. And I'm not sure if they had the pace was a bit quickened or what the case was, or maybe the dealer was setting up. I'm not really sure. But, it's really good if you're being introduced to the game slowly and you don't want the dealer interaction. You just want to see where the bets go.
Yeah. And
you want to just like see how they're paid and that kind of thing. The other thing is they pay you as a whole bet. So like where you have $6 on the 6 or the 8, it becomes a $13 win. And the way that it's calculated, and then
it's
you
literally
can keep
calculated down to like the decimal, basically.
No, not the decimal, but as a whole win. That's how it works. You follow? It's not just you win $7. Now what the hell do you want to do?
Oh,
the nice thing about it is it gives you the option to press the bet and to reinvest the entire winnings. You have a chance where it says, "Would you like to reinvest the whole bet?" And which is interesting. I was surprised that it had that. That was actually a really cool thing. But I think for most of the people that follow sort of the systems that we do and the systems that we play out, that type of game, has a place, but it's not going to replace having a real dealer.
Some people earlier said Sig and Roy, or is it the people
yeah. God, I can't believe Siegfried and Roy. That's what I went to. Yeah, holy crap! I've been to their show twice too. I can't believe I forgot that one. That was the one where they had the car disappear. It was the first one where they had a whole car. It was fantastic. They had the car appear and reappear and over there. Holy crap!
I'm gonna ask this question, and then I've gotten a phone call 3 times from the same person, so
really?
I gotta go check.
You better go check. Someone could be like out of the skates. Okay.
So
go.
Have you ever seen a guy lose it and go in a gambling frenzy and just implode?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You want to tell a story about that real quick?
I mean, well, you have. All right. Well, hurry back, dude. I don't know if I mean, yeah. So let me think. I've had quite a few people just. I had that one guy chasing the 12, and this was a guy that would come in and visit me often, and was just the friendliest dude, and we got along. He would always look to play with me, the whole thing. Comes in one day to chase the 12, and he comes in with he's buying in nickels, and he figures it's going to pay. This is, by the way, this was at Texas Station, and it paid 32 for 1. It was the best place to play props. It was the last remaining 32 for 1 table. So now downtown odds on the high side, right, on a pairs, on a pairs hopping is 31 for 1 downtown or 30 for 1 on the strip. So Texas was quite literally the last casino I know of that was 32 for 1. If there's another one out there, please let me know. And by the way, congratulations to Resort World for being downtown odds on a craps table. So if you're looking for downtown odds on a crap table and you play prop bets, Resort World is the place for you. Get that table busy. But anyways, of course, the table's probably like ridiculous. But anyways, so this guy comes in and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna chase the 12. I'm gonna go in 30 nickels and I'm gonna hit the 12 within 30 plays. That's the goal. And if I hit it on the 30th, I'm out 32 and I'm up 2 nickels. You know." So he does this, and he's chasing the 12, 12, 12, 12. That's all he's doing. Normally, he was like an inside bettor, fairly normal bettor, play the field a little bit, this kind of thing. Kind of, you know, sketchy back and forth. But so he chases the 12, and he goes in. I don't know. I think he figured it down to like 29 nickels, actually. So 29 nickels in, no 12 has come in 29 rolls. And he stops. He's like, "Well, I'm going to give this a break before he has to rebuy." He's going to rebuy. He's going to martingale chasing the 12. Not a good idea. So the very next roll, 12 rolls. Very next roll. Of course. I mean, this had to be a thing. You know, he's fine. You know, we're talking, hanging out. And this was a guy, I have a pretty dry sense of humor. This is a guy I could do that with. He was always really friendly. We engaged really well. And he comes in again. He buys in for twice as many units, and now he's going in 10s. He's now chasing at 10s, but he's only going to go, I think, 25. He's going to chase at 25 rolls. It's got to come in 25 rolls. Doesn't come at 25 rolls. It comes on the 26 roll. When he stops at 25 rolls, it comes on the 26 roll.
By the way, this is a great story. I love this story.
He's less happy, but he's this guy. I've played with this guy. We've had fun before. We've, like, you know what I mean? He's always looking for me. It's like, this is David's my dealer. I think I met his wife and his family. He might have brought in his firstborn to come say hello. I mean, you know, we were tight, this guy. Not really, but anyways. So he's going to martingale it again. This time he comes in with like $800. He starts playing quarters, starts throwing quarters up there. And I don't know, however much it was, he comes in and he's going to wait. At this point, he's starting to like feel it. It's starting to hurt. And this is the end of his bankroll, the end of whatever money. This might have been rent money. This might have been alimony, whatever the case was. So it's however many rolls it was, let's say 15 rolls, there's no 12. And I say to him, I have actually a stack of black. I moved the black over and I'm like 12 on the hop, jokingly, because he stopped playing it. And up until now, it's come the very next roll. Well, guess what happens? Comes the very next roll.
Oof.
And he's not all that excited. Oh, just to add to this misery, he's the shooter.
Oh.
He's the shooter all time. He's the flipping shooter. And anyways, so he is pissed. He starts screaming. I wouldn't say screaming. Yeah, he's kind of screaming. He's yelling. He's upset. He's yelling at me, by the way. He's really upset. And I realized I went a little far. I shouldn't have done that. That was rubbing it in. That was bad of me.
Plus, you kind of made it look like it was rigged.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, I was trying to have fun with him. I was trying to lighten the load. I didn't think a 12 was actually going to come. I was just trying to, you know what I mean? Like, here's all this on the 12 because knowing it's going to roll. And of course he does. He rolls it. He's just not happy. So the stick person, we have to get this guy calmed down. He's so upset. He's visibly shaken. His face is red. And he is just, he's mad, dude. He's like, you know, he's SOB. He's calling me names. Anyways, it calms down. A couple minutes into this, it calms down. There's actually so he's been rolling quite the hand, by the way. He's rolling he's the same shooter. Okay, get this. He's the same flipping shooter that's rolled all of these rolls. The one time when he's not betting the inside numbers and playing normally, which he would have won by now, he would have won a lot. You know, maybe not. He was kind of like a weird bettor. He was a blended bettor, so he wouldn't have won all that much, but he'd have won a lot more than chasing this 12. So here he is rolling this monster hand, can't roll a 12. I make fun of him on this one hop. You know, amazingly, it comes in that way. And literally, he is just livid. You could tell, like, the things going through his head is just he wants a piece of meat. So we're sitting there not knowing what to do because the guy is like really enraged. And so ultimately, the dealer, he calms down. He's like, it was weird. You ever see someone like calm down? They're like, the security is there. They hold the guy back, and he's like, yeah, I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'm all better now. And they let go of him, and then he goes berserk.
The
and
rage,
just goes,
yeah.
he just like. That was the vibe I got from this dude. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, yeah, I'm better now. Just pass me the dice. We're going to be fine. You know what I mean? And then, bam, everybody's like, we have an incident. So anyways, they pass the guy the dice. And he looks at the dice. And he puts up the dice and he goes, F you. He's like, I'm going to take these in. I'm going to have them inspected. He really thought it was rigged. He thought the dice were rigged. He ran off with the damn dice. And so I look over, and we, at this point, based on his engagement at the table, there's already a floor supervisor. We had one of the most laid-back floor supervisors. I'm pretty sure this guy got stoned out of his mind before
Really?
he came to work. Oh, yeah. He was a real big hippie kind of guy. And he's like, yeah, let him have it. He's like, he didn't care. He's like, yeah, no big deal. And so, so the guy literally ran off with the dice, and that was it. I mean, I've seen fights. I've seen people on the 6 and 8, big 6 and 8. I mean, I talk to students all the time about why you don't see big 6 and 8 on tables anymore, because people fight over it. It's an even money bet. It sits there in the corner, and it plays until you pick it up, or until 7 loses, or if it comes easy, you can leave it there. It stays, and people get confused. Was that mine? Did I leave that there? Did I get paid? So if you pay it as a dealer and you don't stack it up or let the person know, if someone else was playing the 6 or 8, they think that maybe they put that money there. That they don't know. They lose track. And I mean, I've seen literally takedown fights. I've seen 2 women.
Takedown fights?
I've seen 2 women debra themselves over it.
Really?
Yeah. Literally 2 women debra.
Over the 6 and 8?
Over the 6 and 8, fighting over the 6 and 8. And I believe they were family. I literally think that they were family. So in the beginning, like, I'm sure they were family, actually. Like, so the one lady had her thing come off, unhook, and got pulled out. And so the other one did the same thing. I don't know how they did. It was I've seen real fights, real breakdown. I'm sure that they were had a few cocktails, but that's why I tell dealers, you have to account for this money as much as it's even the field. I mean, if you people play the field enough, you guys are arguing about the field too. Like, you'll see people claim your field bet, and you're like, no, that's mine. They'll be like, no, that's mine. Now we're gonna duel. Let's go duel. Let's go shoot it out. No, I mean, there's a famous fight not too long ago where they, people got into literally they had to be pulled from a crap table. They had to close the pit. I think I won't name the casino because I don't want to take away from that casino anymore. But they were bloody, fist fighting. They both got arrested literally inside the game. Inside, one of our dealers witnessed this happening. It was news. It was actually news. They got into the tub of the game and just started going at it, arguing over a field bet. This happens all the time. But I mean, that's nothing. I've seen. Oh my God, I've seen so many. We had a guy. People spit. They interact incorrectly with the supervisor. I knew this kid one time, kind of a ways ago, who looked really young. Really, really young. And he would go to the casino, and they would card him, and then he would move tables. They would card him again. He would move tables. They would card him again. And I mean, it got to the point where he didn't want to be carded anymore, and he literally lost his mind. He jumped into the pit. He started hitting a supervisor. And by the way, this kid's like 5 feet tall. He's a little. Well, it's one of the reasons why he looked really, really young. But he thought that people were messing with him, and then he had one crack pipe too many, and it was like, he was. He looked really young. I mean, it was, dude. If I saw him, I'd be like, dude, I need to see your ID. I don't believe it. I think you fooled all 8 other dealers as you walked up this pit, and I mean, I think they gave him a button at some point. Actually, he came back. He was 86 that day, but he actually came back. I believe they gave him a button just to mark him as someone whose ID had been checked, like his own button.
Wow, really?
To wear during the casino.
There's a button for that?
I remember them having this button.
There's a button for that?
No, they literally created a button because they didn't want to make it an issue. I mean, he had actual money. This kid was actually fairly well off, actually, so they didn't want to piss him off again. But and you know, I by the way, I found my chest of all my original casino badges from back in the
really?
day. I actually have Westward Ho, the Golden Gate, the Rio. I have almost all of them from most of my casinos I've worked at. I even have my badge still from Bella Baton Rouge, my Louisiana license.
You should bring them in.
I know. I was thinking about bringing them in. I was going to bring them in today, but I forgot them. They're pretty cool. I mean, back in the day, they used to just. If you guys remember those little like punchy things that they had a little. You'd pull the thing out and punch in the initials or whatever, and then it would stick. So I have like the Westward Ho one that has that on it. Because apparently every employee there didn't last for more than like a week, so they went cheap as hell on the name badges. Westward Ho has been absorbed by Circus. So if you stayed at the motels on one of the little travel lodge looking place on the side, one of those used to be what constituted the Westward Ho.
Wasn't the Westward Ho the 90-day thing?
So turns out me and Becky both worked at the Westward Ho, maybe at the same time, believe it or not. We're not exactly sure. The interesting thing about the Westward Ho is they basically knew you were going to screw them over, so they screw you over first. You would work 89 days and then exit the property kind of thing, so they didn't have to hit that 90-day barrier and start having to give you benefits, whatever the case was. Yeah, that was actually a thing back then. They had this really small dealer room where you would collect your tokes. And back then, they collected tokes in silver. They took silver off the game, which is amazing to think about now. But back when, crap dealers would deal silver. There were actually some tables here in town. And when I say silver, I mean the things that went into slot machines, the dollar coins.
The silver dollars?
The silver dollars. Which, if you didn't know, Teddy Binion bought all the silver dollars. Literally bought all the silver dollars from all. They used to actually use silver dollars in the casinos. Well, he bought them all and buried them in the desert, and that became its own epic drama story, because he might have been poisoned over it, and the person he hired to dig them might have been, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff like this, but you read that. It's available online. It's quite an interesting story, but. Anyway, so there used to be actual silver in a lot of the casinos that they used, because silver wasn't worth as much what it is now, obviously. And he went through all the casinos, bought all the silver, all the Morgan silver dollars, and all the silver dollars that were being used, and everybody replaced them with, the silver. They call them silver, but they're not actually silver. They're like some kind of alloy, nickel alloy, whatever it was. But they were heavy. They were still heavy. They still, were heavy, and they needed to be heavy enough to, make everything work on the inside, that kind of thing. And a lot of the casinos, the cheaper casinos or break-in properties, would use the silver kind of dual purpose. They didn't want to pay to buy $1, chips, $1 checks. Even now, if you have dollar tables and you get custom checks, more than likely each check is worth more than the dollar. So, if you get even the ceramics that are typically the cheapest can run into a dollar plus to get all the graphics and everything on them. And so it can be expensive when, people come in and they say, listen, I would like to buy a stack of some places, they don't even do that anymore. So you go to the cage and you used to be able to buy give me 100 singles and just buy the singles, take them home with you. Yeah, because a lot of people collect them. When I opened Casino Boardwalk, it was amazing. They were selling they came out with this clown chip for the dollar. The dollars that had this clown face on it. And everybody would come in and buy whole racks of the clown. We ran out of chips, and they had to come in and buy a new chip, because they're like, listen, you got to stop buying all our chips, because all these collectors came. Apparently, a lot of people like the clowns. Look at Hard Rock. They had those purple haze checks for the $25. I guarantee you they sold out of those 100%. I used to have 3 of them, dude. Someone stole all mine. But anyway, what was I talking about?
I don't know. But
the silver. So when you worked at these low-end properties, they would have silver on the crab tables, and they would pay. It was ridiculous. Going out and paying with silver is like the hard. But your hands would get so strong, dude. You'd move on to the next property, and you'd be a superstar because your hands were used to doing all this silver. You just just you could break. You were just strong hands. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of that. So anyway, at the Westward Ho, they used to collect all their tips, mostly in silver. They didn't make a whole lot of money over there. And they used to sit up there at the break room, and they would pour out the silver on the table. And they'd have to sit there with their arms out.
Wait, for the tokes?
Yeah, from the tips. Yeah, they would just pour it out, and then they would sit there and divvy it up. And
how do you divvy it up? Did you just count them? And
No,
then...
they just count it, and then they sell them back to the cage. The cage gives them cash, and then they divide the cash. You know, back in the day, you got cash envelopes. You'd sell all whatever you had back to the cage. The cage would give you cash, and then you'd put all the cash into the envelopes and split it all up. That was how everybody got paid. Back when I was a dealer, the IRS didn't come through until like the later 90s at the casinos that I worked at. So I got to enjoy all those tips tax-free. I mean, you know, as far as the IRS was concerned, I was making minimum wage, which thank God, because, you know, imagine if I had a tax bill on top of everything else. Holy crap.
Oof. Didn't you start getting taxed when you were at the Rio, though? Yeah,
Rio was the first place they came through. And it was funny because we were making like $300 a day in tips there back in the night, which is think about that. Fantastic job. I mean, it's the equivalent of like $1 million a day nowadays. No, just kidding. But the IRS came through and said, you know what? We're gonna say you guys make $100 a day, and we're like, oh, fantastic. So what was happening is the dealers or the casinos were negotiating with the IRS and making so where you claimed a certain amount, a fixed amount, and you would pay taxes based on that. You follow?
Yeah.
They didn't claim everything because we didn't have computers like supercomputers, and you didn't have dentists walking around with all this computer knowledge to work out all the math, you know. So they're like, well, we'll just say you guys make 100, and we were like, well, that's fantastic because we're actually making like 300, but we'll just say 100, wink, wink. It wasn't until later that they had all the computer power they needed to kind of, you know, write down to the last dollar. You know what I mean? I still try to give tips, cash tips when I go to restaurants because I know that it's a big difference. You know, the cash tips, a lot of places let you keep those. I mean, you still have to claim it, but you get to go home with tips.
Yeah.
The ones you put on the bill, you got to wait for your check to come out. You know what I mean? And as far as the waiters and waitresses are concerned, holy crap,
you guys pay taxes on your tips. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, no, I know. That's got to be rough. All right, what else do we got? We got any more big Q&A? The big questions?
I mean, there's a lot of Q&A.
Really?
Yeah.
How are we doing? We got more than 5 people?
We have 134 people.
Whoa. Fantastic.
In and out or versus Shake Shack, question mark.
Well, Shake Shack apparently has closed down here in town. It's not even an option.
Isn't there still a Shake Shack?
It was at Oyo, but they have since been, the smaller Hooters is now the only place to go there.
No.
There's one left in town?
I think there's one in a North Outlet.
I don't think I've ever been to a Shake Shack. I would have gone to the one at Oyo, but, or, you know, Hooters, but it's gone now.
In and out versus, I would say Shake Shack because it tastes better.
Really? Do they the ones at Hammer? Do they come out with the waffle burger? Because I'm not a big fan of
Hammer.
that.
But I will say Shake Shack is a little overpriced for what it is.
So if you guys have had Smash Burger, I don't get that at all. They smash it into nothing. It's this little waffle of a burger, and then it doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't look like there's much there. Like I don't understand why do you want to beat your meat like that?
God damn it!
I'm just saying that. Just putting that out there. You know
this is an interesting question.
Go ahead. What do you got?
Any CQ or CEG events happening for Black Friday in November?
Oh, really? Black Friday in November? Oh, yeah, 100%. We're going to make it the biggest, fattest event. We got to tell. So if you don't know already, Black Friday, when we first opened, the loneliest day ever. I have the look on Colin's face is permanently imprinted on my brain. We had 0 customers. And one guy came in who said he was a fan. We didn't have a whole lot of fans, but we were pretty new as a channel, to be honest with you. The fans we had then are pretty hardcore. And then we had this guy come in who was this, it was sort of a ridiculous thing. I don't even want to talk about it. He was like, but we had like one guy come in and we were so excited. We had all these plans and we literally had, the thing, the disconnect that I think a lot of people have for us is like, we're dealers. I mean, me and Alex are basically dealers. You know, I've gone on, done some business planning, things like that, but our background is a gaming business. Like we're not retailers. We're, you know, being in a mall like this is a whole new experience. We've had a lot to learn. Thankfully, thanks to you guys, quite literally, and the YouTube channel and media, it gives us a little bit of a cushion to kind of figure things out, right? But we're learning. And, you know, the great thing about this mall specifically and Brookfield and our partners here is that they give us space to learn. Like the bar is high, but the bar is like moving with us. You know, they have not made it too difficult. Their GM came over the other day and told us, you know, you guys are doing a great job. Our numbers are improving month over month. and we're doing all the things we need to do with feedback. Like you guys come in and comment about the store. Believe it or not, we take that to heart. We listen to what you say. We try to adjust, like, the things that we're buying and the kinds of, opportunities we have here. And we take all that to heart. And just so we're clear, like, your hourlies, they pay the hourlies of our dealers, So everybody here starts at $15 an hour, going to like 16 plus, and then they get tips, and we're working on benefits. So it's a pretty good. I mean, it's not a bad job, especially if you're just learning, you're breaking in, you haven't gotten that whole opportunity. And we try to make it as fun as possible, here, and as easygoing as we can. So, why do we charge? Why do people pay 20, whole dollars an hour, which isn't a lot, is because we have people here. And this is why we built this place. We built this place for exactly the kind of people that we have here working for us and for you guys, and for, us to have an interaction. As much as it's fashion show and, it's kind of a to-do thing, it's not what a lot of people expect, And that's true. But you know what? It's absolutely our passion. It's something that we love wholeheartedly. Me and Alex both really enjoy meeting you guys and talking about dice and the games, and it's sort of a dream come true for all of us. So, that's the win, All right, what was the question? What was the question? Was there a question in there?
The question was any CQ or CEG events happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Black
So
Friday,
November. 100%. Black Friday. We don't want to be here alone. So if you guys want to come stop by, we're gonna work it out. We're gonna plan something big, for Black Friday. Maybe just like a thank you party, something, because we would love. So one of the things we learned about Black Friday is people are really into shopping on Black Friday and getting like the crap that they need. We're going to have crap here. So we didn't have any retail back then, by the way. This time around, we're going to have we have retail. So we'll hopefully have people raiding us and buying us out for Black Friday. But better still, we would love to have you guys. We'll have some kind of Black Friday event. We still have a whole bunch of upgrades on the website. We've just been so busy, dealing with quite literally everything. Huh?
It's been a little hectic.
It's been really, fixing the store has been a lot of work. Getting the lights done, getting the retail footprint done, upgrading, this whole environment has been tough, with limited staff and this kind of thing.
Yeah,
so we're doing what we can.
Believe it or not, David works on a lot of the back end stuff. Most things most people don't see. So
yeah,
it's a lot of work. It's not easy.
It is a lot of work. Plus, I still teach. So for those of you who are interested in our dice class or the school, you can see me over there at the school. I teach Monday through Thursday. And then we work on all the job fairs, meeting all the table game directors. Me and Dennis have literally gone out to the casinos to meet with table game directors and to develop relationships. I mean, we do it all the time.
Well, I just kind of stand there idly while
that's
David
true.
talks,
Yeah, until they ask how old he is, then he has to go. But one of the big things with us is like we don't just leave it to chance. We go out, me and Alex and Dennis and our staff, we go out, we go to the casinos, and we want to know where our people are going to work, who they're going to work for. We want to develop actual relationships. We want to put people into positive environments, and so we do this. I mean, there's no other choice. I want every as many dealers as possible to be just as excited as me. I know for some people it's just a job, and other people it's a career, it's a passion. It's something
or
they really
a pivot
enjoy.
Point.
It's a pivot.
That's the thing. A lot of people come through the school.
Yep.
And sometimes it's about changing their whole lives. That's why the school has always been so impactful for me personally.
Yep.
It's because you're not just seeing people, there to practice. You're seeing people literally going through life change sometimes. And it doesn't matter where they came from. Sometimes they're uber rich and they were like, you know what, I just wanted to deal my whole life. Or they scrounge up every penny they could to come to the school and try to make a better life for themselves.
Yep.
There was one of the most impactful stories was someone came up to me and told me their story. It was this Latin guy. He's still coming to the school, by the way, working through getting to be a dealer. And he said, I came to the dealer school to make sure my wife stops working. And the reason why is because she works as housekeeping and her wrists are getting really hurt. She's getting carpal tunnel. And he was like, my whole goal is just to make enough money so she can take a break. Mm-hmm. And that was impactful. You know what I mean? Like these people are working so hard. And, David and Alex have talked about it, especially David, where, dealing was his pivot point. So the school is not the cash cow, but we love it.
Yeah, we do. We love it. I mean, by the way, we have another national paper and potential movie people coming out talking to us just even tomorrow. That's how full the flipping day is. So tomorrow, we're meeting with a national newspaper who interviewed me this last week. You guys will see it pretty soon, I'm thinking. And of course, they're doing a story on Vegas and the gambling and behind the scenes and that kind of thing. And the school obviously is a great resource because we have a lot of people going through that, like literally right now, either they're, it's interesting is because everybody calls the school expecting it to be, oh my God, we're almost, we're all like, we all have Delta, we're all laid up, nobody's working. I mean, they all expect all this negative stuff, and that's not what we're seeing, to be honest. I mean, we're seeing a lot of positive stuff. I mean, the table game directors are going through out of their minds trying to find dealers, and we can't literally graduate them fast enough. If anything, we're not having enough people sign up to get them all squared away. So that's been the part. But as far as like the the economy, yes, there's probably going to be a little slowdown here. There's a lot of anxiety again. This is all going on again, and so people are experiencing that. But for the most part, if you're calling us for all the negative points, like, you're not going to get a lot of that because we just don't. This is not our focus. Our focus is on, whatever we can do. That's all we can do. I mean, there's not a lot left. That's why we have all these great stories to share because we love it. Huh? What else you got?
Any opinions on Green Valley Ranch?
Huh?
Any opinions on Green Valley Ranch?
I love Green Valley Ranch. What's my opinion about it? I haven't played a lot of table games there, but I have played the slots there. I would love their buffet when it was open, so I'm still pissed. I sold all my stock when they got rid of the damn buffet. The Red Rock Resort's getting rid of the... But the Fertitas came out and said we're done with buffets, so I'm not the biggest fan with that. But it's a great property. It's a beautiful property. There's a lot of great dealers there. The great thing about going there is they have a lot of experienced people. They'll manage your action really well. If you're looking for presence on the game, it's one of those places that's fostered. CEG Casinos, far and away, is one of my favorite places. I mean, it's a place where I've established like the most points and tier points, things like this. As much as I interact with the Strat, obviously they've had a great relationship with us at the channel and the media and stuff. I'm still a huge fan. Palace Station is still, even when it wasn't it's been evolved now. Obviously, it's been remodeled, so it's a whole. If you haven't been to Palace Station in a couple of years, dude, holy crap, you won't even recognize it. I mean, it's really come a long way. And I mean, they have one of these, if not the smartest table game directors ever to hit the planet. Someone who literally knows the games like knows Pai Gow, can deal Pai Gow tiles. Not anybody out there can deal Pai Gow tiles competitively, and this guy is literally that guy. So, I've, depending upon where I've lived in the Valley, I've always found a station that sort of fit my needs and has sort of been my go-to. Green Valley, I haven't really lived in Green Valley all that much. When they first built the property, I just loved it. I love the use of like stone and the walkways, stuff like this that they have throughout on the side, by the cashier, stuff like this. It's like literally one of the cleanest, and they built that whole area in front of it that has a bunch of restaurants and retail, stuff like this, which has a lot of really good thing. I know I'm just glowing about the place. I will say this: Red Rock is my favorite station casino, hand down, and in terms of where I've gone to play, just in general. Again, really a lot of really good people. They have some of the best machines. Station, by the way, is not stingy when it comes to paybacks. The paybacks are great. I mean, it's a great place to play Keno. You want to play at the 2-cent level, not the 1-cent level. 2-cent level will give you a little upgrade in terms of payback, and then I think as you go up higher also. But yeah, so they have very competitive pay scales for sure.
As a virgin gambler, I love that place.
Really? Which one? Red Rock?
No,
Green Valley.
Green Valley. I've never been to Red Rock, but
really?
Green Valley is always fun because there's little shops out there. They have a little movie theater. I love the movie theater, by the way.
Yeah, that is nice. Yeah.
It's a nice property to walk through.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
It's got one of the nicest movie theaters. That was one of their first non-kicking movie theater where, you know what I mean, you can actually sit and not have
Yeah.
your seat kicked in
They have
as you were
recliner
watching the
seats
movie.
now.
Huh?
They have recliner seats now.
Oh, that's fantastic, dude. They have you can go to Town Square and just get loaded while you're watching the movie.
No, Town Square.
While
the
eating
AMC,
a pizza.
No, their AMC. I don't know if they've changed it, but last year or the year before, or whatever year it was,
Yeah.
they still had the old-fashioned chairs. The old-fashioned.
Really?
movie theater
About
chairs.
the one down the strip?
Yeah.
Really?
The AMC. Yeah.
Oh.
Though I will say that AMC does play.
Well, go to Palace. You want to go to upgraded theater? Palace Station for the win.
I haven't been to Palace.
Oh my God, it's like luxury.
Really?
Yeah, and they can't beat you on your chair either.
This next one I'm not sure exactly.
How to
I've
answer
never
it?
watched this movie, but
Uh-huh.
it says, "Hey David, what's up with your co-host looking like Mick in the 1983 movie Bad Boys, played by Sean Penn?"
Oh yeah, Bad Boys. Yeah, that's you, buddy, with your hair. You guys haven't seen him with the short hair. He's got pictures. I can't believe it. I never seen him with short hair either. He's always had this long hair.
No, that's not true. When I first started working here, my hair was relatively not as short as that picture you saw, but shorter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's he's young. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know how he looks or what he's doing, or We're lucky he remembers his name. I don't remember his name.
Well, you don't remember my
It's Sticky.
name. Let's see.
All right, what else you got?
I think the answer to this one should be pretty obvious. Should I invest my entire life saving on a craps table? The answer should be no.
Yeah, no. Don't do that. Although, if you have enough to martingale, no, just don't do that.
Yeah,
whatever you do, go with a fixed amount. Come see me first if you have any other weird urges for craps. That is craps. Yeah, stick with the bankroll. Stick with the plan. That's what I've always found. I mean, I think that if you're a consistent player, eventually you get out and you have that hand. I mean, that's if you do it right. If you avoid tilt.
Isn't there a Shake Shack in South Point? Asked DJ Smith.
Yeah, I think that's might actually be true. I do think that's true. Actually, there's a couple. You know what I'm remembering? There was one in Henderson, right? I think I went to the one in Henderson. We were working with the English as a second language school, and they took us to a Shake Shack, I believe.
Really?
I believe I actually had I think I had one there, but I mean, it wasn't all that memorable, obviously, but I think I had one there.
Ooh, interesting question.
Go.
Do you have to reserve a time at CQ, or can you just walk in and play?
You can just walk in, but make sure it's better to reserve a time so that we can make sure dealers are there for you. So we're at we don't always have all the dealers we need for obvious reasons nowadays, and so if you let us know in advance, then we can make sure that your whatever it is you need is suited, whatever games you want to play. Because not all the dealers know everything, although they're really coming along well. So they're learning everything. But some dealers, between all of us, we know everything. And I mean, as far as table games go, not, existential questions of life kind of thing. But yeah, as far as table games go, we got it all covered, buddy. Yeah. But you can walk in.
I completely forgot about this, by the way.
Uh-oh, what do you got?
But there's a Pizza Rock at Green Valley.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Pizza Rock. Oh, God. Oof. Fantastic pizza, dude. That guy has won tons of national awards.
It's really good pizza. Really good pizza.
It is fantastic pizza. I don't know what kind of special sauce he's got going on there, but wow. All right, what else you got?
I think we're done.
I think we're going to wind it up. All right, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this last and best episode of D&D Vegas. Sorry it got off to a slow start. And we apologize for any technical issues we experienced. We're going to try to work through that. But thank you so much. I hope we're going to try and upgrade it every week. We're going to try to more news, more context, more pictures. We're going to try to make this as interactive. And, of course, I'm going to focus on stories that I can add context to, that I can add insight to. We've been here a while. We'll probably have other locals as we build an audience. And again, we download this and upload it to our Anchor FM account, which would then goes on to all of the other podcasts, right? Spotify, Apple, everything. It's available afterwards. So if you'd like to listen to it, you know what I mean, you can do that. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. And bye, guys. Thank you. Bye. I'm looking